And we are live this time with real pregame, only a couple minutes before the start, so we don't have a lot of time, but the list of players in this event continues to grow, Anna.
Yeah, indeed, and I really don't know who is going to win the event. Maybe it will be somebody who is already qualified for the Speed Chess Championship. We see that once again. Hikaru Nakamura is here, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave is here. So one of them could actually win the event, and in that case, the second placed player will qualify for the Speed Chess Championship. Who do you think will win, Danny?
That's right. And if we have a tie, everybody, I just want to say real quick, there'll be an Armageddon game. We've only had one tie so far, and that was in week 2. That if you missed it, you missed out on quite a doozy. But I picking with my heart, I'd love to see one of the guys that has tried so many times and has just been pushing and pushing. Guys like Sebastian, who's Alexander Dominguez Perez. You've got Darius Schweiss, who's Daro 94, Daniel Naroditsky. These guys have been here in every event attempting to qualify, so you just hope that consistency pays off. Grandmaster Sam Sevion Konovets has also been here. From a star power perspective, I guess someone like Eric Hansen, a chess broad, would be interesting, but kind of a long shot, I think. Despite his higher rating on here, I think some of these guys have been a little more consistent than him in the Title Tuesdays. And let's just remind everybody that, of course, near the bottom of the list, and literally we mean the bottom of the list, is Grandmaster Alexander Morozevich, and that is, I can't even find him right now. He is right here. And
he's like number 70, Morozevich?
Yeah, he's number 70, and the games have begun. So not any more time needed for us to pregame this. Everyone knows what it is. It's the Speed Chess Championship Qualifier. There's $1,500 in prizes on the line just for today's event. Small change in terms of being able to make this really epic list of 16 players, the bracket you see in front of you here. We already have 3 who have qualified the 4th spot right here. Will somebody playing today be going up against Magnus Carlsen? Will they be playing Hikaru Nakamura? We don't know. So take a good look at the Speed Chess Championship details. You can find a news report on Chess.com. But Anna and I are going to provide you with commentary and information. And Anna, I'm currently looking at Grandmaster Maxime Vachier-Lagrave's game. That is the game I have up. I also was following a couple of other top players, but I don't see their games starting. So, there we go. Hikaru is also in full action here.
Yeah, let me catch up with you. I'm trying to get all the games.
Time. It's always a little bit of a mad rush in the beginning, right? If you're watching this on Twitch or Chess.com TV, you can also follow whatever games you want yourself. If you don't like our flow, just log into Chess.com's live server and choose your own adventure. Hikaru is a little bit better here in this kind of Maroczy bind, everybody, mainly because this D6 pawn is a weakness, whereas white doesn't really have any positional weaknesses. So quick description there says Hikaru's a little better, though D5, a nice move if black can do it tactically. If black can get away with it, that's exactly the kind of way you get rid of a weak pawn, is you trade it for a healthy pawn. So we'll keep our eye on this one. I just want to jump around, Anna. We got MVL's game going on here against Ehrenfeld. Don't quite know who Ehrenfeld is, but welcome, Ehrenfeld.
Yeah, neither do I.
And then let's see. We've got... Let me bring up another one.
I see that Lawrence is back, trying to win once again the Speed Chess Qualifier.
For sure. All right, we've got Grandmaster Sebastian. Alexander Dominguez Perez as white. I feel like we saw him play this exact opening last week several times.
Yes, he's got his solid repertoire, repeating it often. But as we said, that we are rooting for these players who have been playing almost every week, if not literally every week. And Sebastian is one of those grandmasters who come back every Tuesday to try to qualify. So, yeah, let's see if he can do it this time.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of those players, we talked about Grandmaster Daniel Naroditsky. Let's bring up Lawrence Trent's game, as you said, our buddy in terms of chess commentary. International Master Lawrence Trent has also been consistently trying his hand. Hasn't played his best chess in our qualifiers. I think it's fair to say that. But Lawrence is back again. He's a little bit worse in this position, I think, with black, but he's much higher rated, so hopefully he can work his way out of this one. Of the top female players, obviously we have Alexandra Kostyniuk, I will bring up her name.
Chess Queen.
As yes, she
played very well
first.
last week. She did a very good job. Unfortunately, she couldn't qualify, but she beat quite many grandmasters. So of course we cannot rule out that she will do a good tournament this time as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I'm looking, I don't have her game up, but I do believe she is still in progress. So
yeah, I see that some of the grandmasters have already won their games, including Igor Kovalenko. Alexander Morozevich, I think he was the first one to win.
That's right. He's right there at the top. It'll be interesting to see as players face off with him, because certainly so many of these top players, Anna, who play regularly, they don't know like we know that he was registered in advance. So I'm sure they'll get paired with him and be wondering,
who
what
is
the heck is
Igor
this?
Geroyev?
Right, exactly. Who is this? So, all right, well, let's stick at the top. Everyone loves following Hikaru's games. Everyone loves following MVL. Hikaru currently working his way toward an endgame victory, it seems, with the rook very dominantly placed on the back rank. White has some serious issues here. Let's see. So if a5 is played, is Hikaru going to try to work this knight into some sort of...
Yeah, knight d5 and knight e7 is the threat, so rook e6 has to be played. If not, he's... knight e7 on his mate.
And he resigns. Very good. There's
Well.
nothing better than when we say a move has to be played and then it doesn't get played. And unfortunately, his opponent didn't play it all the way out to checkmate, everybody, but Hikaru will take the resignation, I'm sure. So if Black had played rook e6, White is still in the driver's seat here with such a dominant rook and control and such a great knight in the center. But Hikaru is on the board. He wins. Let's jump over to number 2, Grandmaster Leon Beast, who is Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. Looks to be in decent shape here as Black, pressing a space advantage. This pawn over here is highlighting the d3 square, but probably Maxime might try to launch a plan that brings the knight from d5 maybe into a difference. Oh no, the f5 pawn is one thing that he certainly has to watch out for. So what's the plan here for Black?
I can't find him. I don't know why. Now I managed. I was like, I'm panicking. I don't see MVL. Yeah, you were asking what's the plan for Black?
I was. If you don't see the position, we can do something else. We're having
I have it. I managed.
Okay, there you go.
Managed.
I was looking at queen a7 check, and I was wondering if there was some trickiness if the queen swings herself from one side of the board to the other, from a7 to f2. But Maxime is content to just press on his space advantage here on the queen side. He's going to take with the knight, which unleashes the queen.
Yeah, that's why he
kept
the queen on f7, so that the c4 pawn is not hanging.
That's right, yeah. So I guess the biggest issue for White here is that if White trades everybody, you're left with 3 very, very good pawns here, and this bishop on the long diagonal hitting b2 is certainly an issue. So
yeah. The knight jumping to d3, this is going to be super unpleasant. He only has to take care of the a5 weakness. It's not a weakness anymore now, it's on b4.
Right.
White has taken the knight on b4.
White's only chance would be to get some sort of blockade on the d-file, preventing this pawn from advancing and maybe even holding on to some sort of critical square with the knight. But I just don't see that as being possible. Likely Maxime goes on to win this one in pretty fine fashion. Let's jump back over to Dominguez Perez game here against candidate master Mykalo Dalina. Okay. And longtime player, maybe first-time featured gamer, who knows. But okay, Dominguez Perez is currently just about to pick off the b7 pawn, so we joined it just in time. His last move being rook g7 check, he's just gobbling up this pawn on b7.
And this is once again a good bishop versus not so good knight. So
exactly.
We are seeing these super grandmasters dominating with the bishop over the knight.
Yep. Dominant, whenever you see the knight literally being held back on the light squares this way, probably, yeah, I was going to say, he's not moving that bishop anywhere. Sebastian likes it right where it is. Now he's probably just going to play moves like king to c3 and b4. I would imagine that organizing an outside pass pawn on the queen side would be pretty straightforward. Okay, he plays h4. Very technical style, Mr. Dominguez Perez, right? And certainly it served him well in his chess career. But I wonder if it's caught up with him in some of these Swiss-style Title Tuesdays, Anna, where he plays a lot of long games.
Yeah.
And he ends up having trouble usually not the beginning, but toward the back half of the event, converting. And so in this case, he gets a nice resignation from his opponent, who just decides he's not interested in getting abused in an endgame. But we'll see. We'll see if Dominguez Perez can change his fortunes. Back over to MVL's game. This is interesting. What happened here? I guess Maxime is about to win. I think Maxime
yeah, should be. Lots of things happen since we checked back. After bishop e3, threatening bishop takes f4. Yeah, he wants to force white to take with the knight and then pin on the b5, so he's about to win this knight. Slow plan could be to bring the bishop there. Yeah, he's winning it next move. But he was threatening with bishop c5, bishop a3, and winning the knight anyway.
Right. And it was forced regardless. We'll back up and show everybody the heads-up play that MVL had there. I think he might have even missed a slightly more accurate way to win a few moves before, but either way, he goes on to win. Let's back up and show the idea that Anna was talking about in this position. The nice combination that you and I had just missed apparently was the move c3 on move 41, forcing his way through with the b-pawn. I think the move bishop e3 immediately here was even better, threatening bishop to c1 to get a queen, and bishop takes f4. Yeah. But Maxime settled on this idea to come a little bit later, and this was a very heads-up play because, as Anna highlighted, even if white protects the pawn, the bishop comes to c5 and into a3, and white is losing a piece anyway. So a good game, and MVL takes it down. So let's jump over to the standings, because that's really where it's at right now. You see all the players who should have won did win, took care of business. I don't see any massive upsets, at least not in the top 10 or so, which is different than last week. Didn't we see Hikaru lose his first game?
He did. He did lose, and I think a few other grandmasters also lost in their first round game. So today it seems that there are no surprises, not yet, not in the first round. And shout out to Jeffrey Seong, by the way, last week's winner. He's here in the chat. So Jeffrey, welcome.
Hanging out. Hey, Jeffrey, hanging out. He didn't want to jump back in for any more games. Decides he's going to let somebody else have a chance. So what are the games still going here? As we take a look here, we've got Grandmaster Jan Elvist, who we followed decently closely last time. Malev 212.
You still remember what Malev is?
That's right. Malev is a Hungarian airline that no longer exists. That's right.
Exactly.
So Mr. Hungarian Airline is about to convert on this rook and pawn ending, though. Like any good former student of the Soviet chess school, not Russian schoolboy, but we can call him a student of the Soviet chess school from Estonia. He knows his rook endings, and this is a pretty easy one to win. So Jan Elvis takes care of business. Where does that leave us? What other games are still going here? I'm scrolling down, looking for some games that might be of interest. There's still a decent amount of ones going.
Only a few games left. I see 4 games still going on, but no, they are just resigning the moment I click there.
I brought up Grandmaster.
Of the morning AD is still playing against It's Felix.
Yep, and as well as Victor Mikalevsky is playing as white, unfortunately struggling against National Master Gumersindo. So this is
is he just a rook down?
He's just a rook down and about to fall for some sort of
he wants a stalemate. So
he's trying to create a stalemate trap, but not meant to be, as they say.
Yeah, and this is the last game.
Yeah, a big upset here. National Master Gumersindo taking down Victor Mikalevsky. So congratulations to the National Master for getting a big win in round 1. But we will be starting round 2 in moments. We got a long day, everybody. Remember, 10 rounds, a lot of prizes on the line. The biggest prize, of course, a reminder, this is not just a regular Title Tuesday. The winners of these 4 events get into the Speed Chess Championship, the 2017 Speed Chess Championship. We already have 3. Gregorians, of the 3 winners, he's the only one playing today. Georg Meyer and Jeffrey Zhang have all taken spots. And who will be the lucky person today? I got Hikaru's game in front of me, Anna. Any better ideas you want to jump to?
In Hikaru's game, well, where do you think it all went wrong for white, first of all?
Oh no, I have
The-
Hikaru's next round game in front of us.
Oh,
The
I
game
thought
that
you
he just
wanted to
started.
go through his first round game. No, yeah, let's just
We
focus on
could
this
another
because
time,
he's
but
playing the French. He's playing the French.
oh no, oh no. You know the French is no good, Anna. You know the French is no good.
I love the French.
I know you do. All right, let's jump over to the Chess Queens game. Mrs. Alexandra Kosteniuk, former women's world champion. She's going to play the move 95 here, and this is was this a Scotch? It looks like it might have been some sort of open Scotch game. Let me check out the opening. No, it was a French with
Also, I love today.
You love today? Why?
Everybody plays the French.
Everybody's playing the French. That's right. So she plays a French, and this sideline, this variation with early A3 goes against the regular roads traveled, everybody, with E5, where you get this dynamic imbalance of, black has the positional pawn advantage on the queen side, and white tries to attack on the dark squares with the missing bishop. But this line where white gets the bishop pair but sacrifices the E4 pawn is a tricky one, and Alexandra seems to know it better than her opponent as she's just won the exchange, Anna.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to find her, but I believe you that it had happened.
I don't know why we're struggling to find more games today. There seems to be a little bit of an issue. I think probably the easiest thing to do is to follow the player so that every round, unfortunately, you may have to use the commands, which is a typing process. So.
And the command is follow and then the name, isn't it?
And then the username, yeah.
Because that's what Jeffrey has asked as well.
You have to do it in the main chat, not in the game chat, but in the main chat bubble. There's a chat bubble that's right next to the top players and in between the friends. That's the chat bubble. So sorry, everybody, for doing a little bit of technical troubleshooting today, but we had encountered some bugs with a recent code push we did. That's how it works. When you're fixing and keeping a server going a lot, sometimes you fix things and break other things. But if you type /follow in the game chat, it actually is giving an error message, which is a bug right now. It should work. So, but if you type the follow in the main chat, it will work. So that's for everybody who knows that I discovered that bug shortly before we went live. So okay, Alexandra is about to take care of business here in fine fashion. A very well played game. Just like it should be, Anna. White wins against the French. But okay, we have... you didn't laugh. That means you're focused. Let's check out Morozevich's
I was trying
game
to do this follow chess queen, but I'm so clumsy that I cannot make it work. So yeah, That's what I was doing. Yeah, don't worry. I'll find her some way.
Yep.
But I see Hikaru and I see Mvl, and oh my, Mvl is going to give mate to this king in the middle of the board.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's a pretty nice attack against Grandmaster Scrapnell. Not exactly sure who he is, but he is not even up a piece. Normally, you look at this position and it's a Nidorf where White has sacrificed a piece for this type of attack. Here, Maxime has gotten what you normally get for an attack that required some sort of minor piece sacrifice. So, this is here comes knight to d5. It looks like for White after knight to d7.
Yeah, this is completely over.
Yeah, he finds something
Bishop
even better.
takes.
Actually, it's just mate in the middle of the board. Everybody
Yeah,
after knight takes.
he can even exchange queens because he's winning anyway.
Yeah,
F6
White
in
is
the end. Oh, bishop c6, beautiful.
Let me see. Bishop to c6 check. That is a deflection.
Even stronger than queen takes. Queen takes was also winning, but bishop c6 is even stronger.
Right. Completely prevents those lines. Yeah, exactly. If the queen takes, here comes queen takes c5. Sorry, Anna, go ahead. Yep.
I was just still praising Maxime for this beautiful tactical idea.
Very nice way to finish, and you know something has gone wrong for Black, as we said, when you're defending an attack like this and you don't even have material to help you sleep at night. So very, very nice win there. Checking back on Hikaru's game, he's down a queen. So but this time it's not a queen blunder as we saw Nakamura make last week. Here he's got some pieces for the queen. Does he have enough though, Anna? This is a very interesting, unbalanced position here.
So he's got 3 minor pieces for the queen, but I'm wondering about isn't it like his minor pieces are weird, like the knight on a4 and the
Yeah,
undeveloped
for
bishop on
sure.
c8, undeveloped rook
Yep,
on a8. So if
I
he
agree.
had
This
those
is
pieces
a
active and all developed and coordinating, then I think it could compensate or even be better. But I'm worried because he's not developed.
But on the right as we say that, it looks like black is kind of unwinding, and it makes me think
Yeah.
that maybe white either had an opportunity that he missed, or it was never there. But Anna was highlighting an important point. Usually, if you have the pieces for the queen, they need to be working together. They need to be
Mm.
coordinated because the queen herself is too powerful. But maybe black just didn't have any concrete weaknesses that white could have taken advantage of, and now he's just winning. Now he picks up the knight with check. He's going to gobble up the rook, and so
Yeah.
turning out to be a really fun one here to see Nakamura use all the minor pieces super well. Several moves here. There's knight. I was going to say knight f2 check, or you could have even just played king g7 to prevent queen takes, but it's not going
Yeah,
to
knight
matter.
f2 was strong enough, and now bishop e4 could be the next. So queen f3 pinning the bishop, but this won't last for long.
Yeah, it'll be either a nice checkmate or a resignation. We'll see, depending on what Yuri Solo wants. I believe Yaroslav Zarabuk, a recent decent
Is he?
performer at the U.S. Championship, I believe. Maybe somebody could confirm that for us, but
Yuri Solodovnichenko, another
ah,
Ukrainian player.
oh, okay. So no, I'm wrong. But okay. Remember last week how we talked about checkmating with a pawn was the nicest way? We get our first checkmate with a pawn
Exactly.
today.
It is still the nicest way to checkmate.
Definitely got to ring a bell there. When someone gets checkmated, it's like a knockout in the ring. So there we go. Very nice win by Nakamura. Let's check on the leaderboard before we look for our next game and just see that the top players are taking care of business. Right there, Grandmaster Robert Hess as well. Robert is also one of those players who we've been following each week, Anna, as he's
Hmm.
tried to qualify, and so we wish him the best of luck. Off to a pretty decent start. Indian lad, if you
The
remember,
mysterious
yeah, the
Indian.
mysterious Indian lad who now no longer mysterious. We announced and we know his name, but I just don't remember it.
I
Uh,
don't remember it either. It
I don't
starts with an
remember.
N, I believe.
Yeah, so we'll look into that. But okay, still just a ton of other strong players, not even done with their games, as we see the list of those at 2 of 2 continues to grow. So let's jump over to another game here. Alexander Kostyuk already took care of business, but what about the game between Sebastian and Gulamali Rises? That's Kazim Gulamali, chess variants
Mhm.
aficionado,
Oh,
and Dominguez Perez.
and once again an endgame. This is what you were saying, that Dominguez plays such a high-level chess that he's winning all his games in endgames, and this might be a disadvantage if you have to play perfectly for 10 rounds.
Yeah, and his style is to be willing to grind out a lot of small advantages, which I think in over the board rapid, and I made a prediction with Amon in our last show together, which I'll repeat here. I said that I feel like Dominguez Perez, if he did qualify, would be
Hmm.
a really decent upset pick. I think that he's
Yeah,
and his style would play better in a match setting where he gets to be prepared for his opponent and he could draw out a lot of games as the underdog. Certainly a draw in those
yeah,
settings is not a
I
problem,
agree.
right? But in a
Hmm.
Swiss, in these types of scenarios, I don't know that his style is so suited to win a title Tuesday.
Yeah, yeah, I completely agree with you that he could be in the Speeches Championship just because of his rating almost. So that the way that he has to qualify from the Swiss tournament is definitely more difficult for him than facing one of the qualified players, one of the players that are already in the
But
Speeches
look at this,
Championships.
a brilliant. I
No
think
way.
I
This.
think a brilliant draw by Kazim. There's no way that Black is going to win now as White makes his way back over to the corner just in
Just
time.
in
So
time, King C1.
another good example, and it's not to pick on Sebastian. Obviously, we said we're kind of rooting for him, but this is an
Yeah.
example of his style. People make blunders in blitz, even the best players, and so if you're constantly grinding out small advantages
Mhm.
where a draw is not a successful result, which for this case it's not, I
Yeah.
think it's a tough thing to win a Swiss tournament with that kind of approach. So. Anyway, but we'll keep an eye on there. Certainly, he's not out of the tournament just because he drew that game. All right, what other games are still going, Anna? Oh, let's jump on this one. I got Darius Schweiss, the winner of Millionaire Chess, against Leonardo with a whole bunch of symbols in there. I'm not even going to pretend to pronounce that, but looks like Daro 94 is about to take this one home.
Okay, this is a winning pawn endgame, not like Sebastian's one, unfortunately for Sebastian. Sergio Chess is also playing, the first winner of the speed chess qualifiers, Sergei Grigoryan, grandmaster from Russia. He has just won his game, so he's doing fine once again. He's finishing at the top of the standings every week, so he's a very consistent winner of the speed chess championship qualifiers. I think he very much deserved his victory because he's always at the top of the standings.
I agree. If I was one of the top players in the world, I'd be a little worried about how well he's played.
Yeah.
Jumping back to, we've talked about Sebastian playing a long time, but really it's been Grandmaster Jan Elvis, who the Hungarian airline is back at it again with a long, drawn-out Russian endgame, and probably it's about to end in a draw no, they did not repeat. Igor Kovalenko is trying to hold on in this endgame as black, despite being down the exchange. What do you think about this position, Anna?
I believe that White should be winning, but it's not an easy win. So we can see like 40 more moves until it's over. But in Blitz, it must be much more difficult to defend this. Although now he's taking the pawn, so
I was going to say now he managed to swindle.
Yeah, and Malev want to offer the draw immediately.
The Hungarian airline he lands in resignation. No, it's a draw, and with that, the next round begins, and immediately we are faced off with higher level matchups. Now we're seeing Hikaru Nakamura get the white pieces against Zlatan 56, who I forget who he is. If someone can help remind me of that. But,
Zlatan, let me check, because Zlatan would be a Croatian name, I think. But no, this is Lauren Fressinet.
I know that it's
Yeah, Mr. Fressinet, Magnus Carlsen's second, one of his seconds.
That's right. It looks like the follow options are back, which is highly convenient. If you click on the names over the board while they're actually playing, you're able to open it up and see who
great.
everyone is. So that's a good little thing to note. But yes, Lauren Fressinet. So certainly a much lower rated player than his actual strength on our server, and this is not an easy pairing for Nakamura. So let's follow this one. Hikaru Nakamura versus Magnus Carlsen's second. Maybe Hikaru can have a better record against Magnus's seconds than he does against Magnus, right?
Yeah, hopefully for Hikaru.
Yeah, I like Hikaru's position so far, though, knowing that he has played these positions so many times. As we've said before, he messes around with these, hedgehog, crazy hypermodern systems so much in Bullet and Blitz, Anna, that it's, he never tries it in tournaments, but he knows these positions so well.
Yeah, I agree with you. I was just reading the chat at the same time, and I see that everybody's shouting, too weak, too slow. If you see Lauren Fressinet, this is something that comes to mind. Unfortunately for him, I think it will stick with him for his whole life now.
That's right. If you don't know the video Anna's referring to, there was a legendary video of Magnus training with his seconds while Magnus destroyed Lauren Fressinet in a rook and bishop ending, I think, and was trash-talking too weak, too slow in the process. So look it up on YouTube. It's a good one. But look at this. Hikaru has sort of exposed Fressinet's lack of theory, lack of knowledge in these hypermoderns, and I think he's grabbed a pretty solid initiative. White is in the driver's seat with not only pressure on the pawn, but this bishop on the h3, c8 diagonal is kind of irritating. I think I expect Hikaru to play moves like queen e2 and maybe even choose to castle long in this one, and that's if the e5 pawn isn't capturable. I don't think.
Yes, what's going on now if knight takes? I guess he wants to take, and then the h3 bishop is hanging. You have to take on c8.
C8. But maybe it works, right? I mean, knight takes e5, knight takes e5. Let's analyze it. And then bishop takes c8 with a strange sort of dynamic affair here, multiple pieces hanging. But if black just recaptures everybody, the point is white just captures and probably has won a healthy pawn in the process. So Hikaru looks to be calculating exactly that right now. Very rare to see the Americans take so much time in, and he goes for it. He takes the pawn. Okay,
So we
well,
shall see if Fressinet will have some kind of a compensation for this pawn, but he has to be very quick. He has to castle and try to bring the rook immediately to the e file if he wants something for the sacrifice.
yeah, I agree totally, and it looks like he's going for exactly the line I just discussed, and White
Oh,
has
queen
won a
e7
pawn,
immediately. He wants the pawn back right now.
but I think White can maybe get away with f4. Ah, no, Hikaru decides that this pawn isn't even capturable because of the
Yeah, the
bishop on
g7 bishop
g7.
would be hanging, but if knight
Wow.
takes and there are discover checks, so what's
How
going on?
crazy. This is so much fun. Look at that. Hikaru is inviting Fressinet to take the pawn and laughing at moves like knight c3 check to win the queen. Look at
I don't
this.
understand
Is
this.
he
Oh, he just
sacrificing the queen?
castles. He castles because the bishop is hanging and he's threatening rook e1. But knight
I
takes
don't know
e4 as
though.
well.
This
What's
doesn't
going
seem
on here?
this doesn't seem right though. I
It
guess he's
doesn't
going to
seem
take
right
back on
because,
a1 and just have
yeah.
this amazing tactical mess going
Oh,
on, but
if he had taken the rook, then queen takes a1 and
yeah.
he was threatening knight f6.
No, but I'm still confident that Hikaru miscalculated that because, I mean, just look at where we're at now. We're all of a sudden in a major piece endgame where certainly
Yeah, no,
Fressinet is
this
no worse. So
if
there's
somebody's
no
better than
way.
it's black, so yes, this must have been miscalculated. It
And
looked
I think
nice.
the critical moment I think was back here, Anna, when he played bishop to b2 rather than f4. I think he thought he had something brilliant on knight takes e4, but then turns
Mhm.
out he quickly realized he didn't. But I would have loved to have seen this queen sacrifice. That just would have been so much fun to see a position with the king in the center where black is actually this position. If White had sacrificed the queen, might have had something. But okay, I digress. Let's get back to the game. This is going to be a close one here with Fressinet being better in this endgame as black.
Yeah, I like his position a lot. The question is this enough? Now he can go rook e2, but then queen d8 check and White can grab the c7 pawn. So it's not so easy. It's great to have the queen on f3. Oh, he wants to exchange queens. Well,
But I think he's
the rook
creating
f2 is better, of course, as well. If queen takes, rook takes, so rook on the
right.
second.
Okay,
Yeah,
so a
but rook
nice move by
d1,
Hikaru.
rook d1, and what's next? He cannot improve his position. Yeah, this will peter out.
Likely peter out to a draw. I agree with you. I think that that's a successful result for Fressinet, obviously as black against
Mhm.
Hikaru Nakamura. So something went wrong out of the opening there after a hot start by Hikaru out of the gates, and I think he was definitely better after taking the e5 pawn. A miscalculation led to this endgame. So unless we see a swindle of some kind, this sort of dead even, no real positional weaknesses for either side to even speak of, this has got to be a draw, Anna. So let's go to a more exciting one and let them fight it out, because Maxime Vachier-Lagrave is taking on Robert Hess,
Oh,
and it looks like MVL is better to go along with the time advantage, but it's not so simple. Robert, once again, under time pressure, as we've said before. Bobby's biggest issue is usually that he's under time pressure. His second biggest issue is with me for calling him Bobby. So his number one issue is time pressure. His second biggest issue is with me.
he doesn't like it.
He doesn't like Bobby,
I
no.
don't know. Why don't you like being called like Bobby Fischer? I would like it. Bobby
I think
Anna
it's because
Rudolph.
Robert's a family name in his family. RLH2 as he is like the second. So
Mm,
I think it's a little bit of a, he feels like protective over his ancestry in some way, and I'm
I
sort of
see.
disrespecting it, but no, anyway, we just joke about that. But all right, so he's defending though, and MVL is yet to figure out a concrete way to finish it off. Hikaru and Fressinet have drawn, everybody. Just so you know, it wasn't our exaggeration. That game is over. So glad we left it, and let's stay locked right here, Anna, where both players are about to get under time pressure.
Yes. So I think that Maxime will win, but I don't know how. I just think that this position is tricky with this long diagonal open with the king on g2. I feel like there will be some kind of a tactical motive soon with this b5 knight hanging potentially. Well, not anymore. It's on d6, but I'm still afraid of something happening on the long diagonal and to this king on g2. Maybe I'm totally wrong because now with the queen on a4, it's not going to happen anymore. What do you
Yeah,
think of this position, Danny? I think
well,
I think Bobby
I
has
think
been
it's
doing fine, but he lost the pawn.
Right, he defended well. I think he was always in a bit of trouble from the moment we joined it. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe it took a while for the smoke to clear, but MVL had the bishop pair, and White had a number of pawn weaknesses to worry about. So given those circumstances, I think he's done his best to kind of keep the lions at bay and maybe get. I mean, he's trying to create drawing chances here, and so Maxime is trading queens, saying, "I think I can win this endgame with this f pawn being a target to my knight." Look at Maxime. He must have just evaluated that he felt that his chances up a pawn, knight versus bishop, were favorable, because he traded off without another thought about it.
Exactly, he did that immediately. I wonder why he's so confident about this, because with so few pawns on the board, this can be a draw. Easily, it could be a draw.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think he assessed that the pawn on f4, Anna, was on a dark square, so the opposite color of the light square bishop, and he felt that the knight would be able to gang up on it. So in that initial transition, he followed the immediate queen trade with the move f5 to cripple the pawn. And so I think his thought is, okay, the knight should be better than the bishop here, and I have targets on the dark squares that this bishop would be helpless to defend. But he wasn't able to get everything, and then he had to trade off that pawn. So I think he still has decent winning chances with that c3 pawn now stuck on a dark square, similar to what I was just talking about.
Yeah, I think that Maxime will win it, because even if this position was a draw, to hold it with 4 seconds on the clock, I think this is basically impossible.
Yeah, it seems like an unreasonable task to ask of the American.
The knight is coming to g3 and this is over. Oh, but now, first you have to defend the c4 pawn.
A little careful, but now it's over. Yeah, I think
this is
he might even just transition to taking c3 first. Yep, and now king d4 and resigns by Robert, I'm going to assume. No, not quite yet, but coming soon to a theater near you, a resignation by Robert Hess. And as we said, that's exactly what the doctor ordered. Robert resigns. So let's check on the standings, Anna, as many of the expected best players won. Not Hikaru Nakamura, if you remember, he drew against Fressinet earlier. But there we see MVL. We see Mr. Sam Sevion, Akshat Chandra, also American Grandmaster. And there he is. Look at number 6. Tied for number 6, Anna, is Alexander Morozevich right there. Underrated more than anybody else to start the event, but look for him to be making some noise. I mean, shouldn't we just pick Morozevich to win at this point?
I think he will win. I would have said that before round 1, that he or my other pick would be Fedoseyev, the Russian youngster, 22 years old, and he's going to be a top 10 player, I believe. So he's a very strong player. I believe that one of the Russians will win, Morozevich or Fedoseyev. What do you think, Danny?
Those seem like good picks. As we said, Sebastian Dominguez Perez gave up an early draw. I don't even know how he did in the last round. And as I scroll through, it's hard to see anybody else to want to pick, as all the players at 2.5 out of 3 have already given up a small chink in the armor. Okay, don't count any of them out, including Nakamura right there at the top of the 2.5 out of 3 players. But okay, let's see. What other games are still going for us to take a peek at while we wait for round 4?
Only 2 games left, but one is by Sebastian, of course. It's an endgame.
No surprise there. Sebastian, that being, as we said, the technical specialist right here. I will bring it up. Oh, I already had the game up. I just didn't even... And he's down on time, though, in this one.
Yeah, 1 second left.
But this is exactly the kind of thing we would expect from Sebastian. Again, he's certainly better, right, everybody? And he's got the driver's seat with his pass D pawn and an opposite bishop ending. But it's... Oh, did he just miss rookie 6 check? I wonder if rookie 6 check was really good on the last move.
It could have been, it could have been a winning move.
Now he's not going to have a chance to do that with the rook trade. But likely black might have to sack the exchange anyway. So I think
he's coming from e8, but bishop d8 was not a possibility because a rook takes d8. So perhaps he wanted black to play like this.
Still very tough to see the clear road to victory here for white,
exactly.
but it should be. And again, so this is we've seen this several weeks in a row now. So we're not picking on Dominguez Perez. It's just a style thing, and he's better. And I think he would win a lot of these games against the best players in the world. But how often can you play quality chess when you're literally living off the increment? Right?
Can he just take the pawn on f6 and then the bishop?
That would have been interesting.
But But then you will give me checks when I want to promote the pawn.
Yeah, and the black king can come back to e7 too if the rook gets the d file.
Exactly. Yeah, I can't. I wanted to trade rooks in that way.
But okay, this is going to be a long one, and even if he wins or not, I think this is something that we're learning. It's just going to be difficult for Sebastian. So maybe next year we'll give this guy an invite. What do you think? Maybe next year we just get him in the tournament since he's tried to qualify.
Invitation. Yes.
I know. I feel like we should let him. I want to see. I mean, I know he's one of the best rapid players in the world, even amongst the world's elite. So maybe next year we get Sebastian in the field the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, I believe he's a former world champion in rapid.
Yep. Okay, but now he's trading rooks, and now there's really no way to win. They might even just agree to a draw here, right? Is there
one more draw?
So a tough result. I think he was winning both this game and the last endgame we saw him play, that being Sebastian, but unable to come up with a full point in either one. I think they can just agree to a draw here. Wait.
I don't think that he can manage to get it to one.
I was thinking about a move like King E7 but of course there was F5 discovered check.
No, actually, it is a tucked one now.
Wait, he did get to. Oh wow, he's going to find a way to win this.
Yeah, he did it. Just the moment
I
was saying that it was.
Why does the universe always have to do that to me? Why does that? What happened here? So wait.
It's winning.
There's a zugzwang because of the triple step method. That is brilliant, everybody. Look at this. So the initial point I highlighted that King E7 was not possible because of the discovered check. He wastes time with the bishop. You make one step with the bishop first on this move, Bishop E4, a zugzwang, and then you make the third move where now there's no longer a threat of discovery, which means that the king could come forward, and that forced black to give up the f6 pawn. That's some impressive technique right there. That little waiting technique with a bishop to waste time is called the triple step method, and it was very, very effective in forcing zugzwang there.
Yeah, beautiful play by Sebastian, and very well-deserved victory after the previous round where he drew a better position. What about Chess Queen? Is she still playing? No, she has won, so she
won her 2
game. Points. Yeah,
and in fact, the third round has actually started now. We already have, right in front of us, I have Grandmaster Maxime Vachier-Lagrave against the young American Akshat Chandra. We also have Hikaru taking on Fegleg, who Amon and I had a lot of fun pronouncing the name Fegleg. A whole bunch, Fegleg, over and over in the title Tuesday on April 11th, where he played very well. So we'll see how Nakamura does against Fegleg. And your friend Alexander Kostyniuk is playing against... Wait a
second. You are just moving away from Hikaru's game because he's playing the French once again?
Of course I am. I can't let the kids see that. That's setting a bad example. The French is not for what is it? What's the best way to insult the French in a new and original way? What would you think?
Look at this. He's pushing the G pawn.
Well, yeah, he's winning,
G4.
Actually. Darn, the French strikes again. No, I can't in good conscience recommend anybody to adopt this as part of their repertoire. So,
do it. Learn it now.
There you go. All right, well, Anna Rudolph recommends it, and looks like with good reason, as Hikaru off to a pretty good start here, even if he loses the b7 pawn. I really like black's destruction of white's center. This is usually a good sign for the French, all jokes aside, because if there's not something tactically devastating for black to have, extended the G pawn, left the king in the center, and taken E5, then probably it was just seen as a very successful French, right, Anna?
I love it. I think that he's going to win in 10 moves.
I think
Maybe
that's
15.
A small exaggeration, but okay. we know. All right, so let's go back to Alexander's game because this is heated up. Hold the phone. There's a forced checkmate coming with the rook to the e file.
Oh!
Whoa, that is fancy. Look at that. No matter how black takes it, everybody, the rook checks. And look at this. After takes and rook checks, if the bishop blocks it, it's mate on d8. And if the other bishop blocks it, it's mate on d7.
Oh,
that is
beautiful.
Some sassy stuff right there. A really nice combination.
Could this be the most beautiful tactical motive of the speed chess qualifiers?
It might be. It's up there, right? It's an instructive one even for the fans, right? I mean, because this is an important one for you to educate yourself in terms of, that we all want to play like Morphe, right? Develop our pieces with tempo and checkmate the king in the middle of the board. But But this is a real opportunity to do so when you see this tactic here, taking advantage of the double pin. By the way, it wouldn't have mattered if the rook takes either. You give check. You can't even block with the queen if you're black and try to hope to sacrifice because it's still mate on d8. This is some Morphe-style chess here, huh?
It's totally a Morphe model game. It could have been played 100, 200 years ago as well. Congratulations to Fidel Corrales. We are sorry for Alexander, of course, but this game will make it to the Chess.com books about Speed Chess Championship
likely
history.
Chess Center. I've been getting some grief that we haven't done Chess Center in a while, so that might be a Chess Center move of the week candidate. So, all right, I jumped over to Morozevich's game. Alexander, we have Morozevich is black here against FIDE Master Pastuche 06. So no idea who that is. It sounds like a peanut, like there's pistachios, there's almonds, there's some Pastuche 06. So it's got to be fun to get a chance.
Villegas from Monaco.
Love it. Love it. That sounds great. So so far I like black's approach. This was in English with e5 and this bishop on a7. It just feels good when you have a bishop on the same diagonal as the king all the way across the board.
Yeah, I like his position. I think he's going to win once again, and I see him as a very clear favorite still.
To continue to go on, I agree with you. The game that we first started with, Hikaru playing as black against Feglig. What? Something very terrible has happened to Nakamura's chances here.
Oh, what is this?
A wild and crazy sacrifice by white. Look at this move,
still
rook
a piece
f5.
up, so...
Look at that move, rook f5. How crazy is that? Like, instantly, rook. What is the idea here? He's just sacrificing it because he's opening up more attacks on the knight on e7.
I don't buy it. I think this cannot be that good. Now queen g4, exactly. That was the idea. So after f takes g6, you can exchange queens and you are an exchange up.
Right, but I mean, white still has some compensation, right?
I agree, but he did not get mated.
Yeah, but black didn't get... I know you're looking for the victory for the French here, okay? Calm down, I know. But it looks like in all seriousness, black probably has gotten past the worst of it, and Hikaru may hold on. But let's keep our eyes glued right here to see how does Feglig deal with h4. I assume he's got to play knight. Oh, I thought he would play knight f5 because of the h4 pawn falling. But instead,
why did he not do that? He didn't want to drop the b2 pawn. No, I would have given up that pawn. Who cares about
certainly. Maybe just rook h5 or something by Hikaru was going to happen to undermine the knight there. But
yeah, that's more likely. Knight f5, rook h5.
That's a solid choice by Hikaru there, picking up the g6 pawn, but more importantly, getting the king out of that dangerous zone where the rooks are disconnected and there's chances for bad things to happen. So I definitely prefer king to g7 versus taking on h4, even with a check. Checks are for kids, silly rabbit, right? Silly rabbits, checks are for kids, and Hikaru's going to go on to win this one, I think.
Yeah,
Pretty
he
good
will.
Defensive tactic. I thought white was on the way to winning an awesome game in the French, but turns out I was just wishful thinking there.
You cannot beat the French with such...
all right. Well, let's go back to...
Maybe white was winning, but we just ignore it, all right?
Yeah. That's the thing about French players, I will say I've noticed universally, is they all have selective memory. They all only remember their wins, and they don't remember anything that might be wrong with the opening. But okay, we'll put our debate aside. Let's look at this. Morozevich game has gotten really messy, and Pastuche 06 is holding his own against the Super GM. Check this out.
Oh, how did he manage to improve his position that much? The white pieces are now better. I like that he managed to bring the knight to d5, but...
Look at this. Look at these intentions, though. Moro
exactly. He smells blood.
He smells blood like nobody else, right? I love the way he attacks with such a reckless abandonment. He's going to take on h4. Yeah, he just does it as he does it before I can say it.
It was so obvious that he was going for it.
It doesn't even matter if it's mate. I would just start like bowing down to Moro if I was playing him. Like, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. It's just going to be mate. There's going to be something nasty's going to finish this game. Calling it now.
Yeah. So how is the mate? Let's try to find it. Queen h2, king f1. Something is missing, and maybe there's no mate.
Yeah,
Maybe
maybe it's
that's
just
mate.
a...
Yeah, he has to go g3. That I thought so, but
Oh, but here comes the rook to the
oh,
f-file.
okay.
He
Now
gets what
with
he
the f
wants.
file open, it's a different story, of course.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think that white...
it
Yeah,
was
here
a
comes
very good
bishop
move, bishop
h3.
b4, and distracting the knight.
Checkmate.
Beautiful.
Bell ringer. Bell ringer. Very nice attack by Morozevich, who moves to 4 out of 4. Let's jump over
Yeah.
to the standings and see how that looks. We've got MVL and Morozevich both right there at the top, 4 out of 4. Okay, now Sam Sevion has joined them, but could we be headed? That would be a great matchup as early as round 5. Morozevich versus Vachier-Lagrave. I'll take that one any day.
I want to see that, and also then Hikaru.
Yeah, let's jump back to Hikaru's game because he's still locked in a battle here against Fegleg, who defended this endgame. Wow.
Yeah, he's holding on. He will take the g4 pawn at some point, and
Yeah,
wait,
and he
yeah,
seems to
he
have
took
held
it.
on for there's no knight d5. I thought there
Yeah, he
was.
can exchange rooks, and that's it. I mean,
But Hikaru's going to try to win. But
yeah,
yeah,
he
I
has
mean,
50 more moves to try, but this is a draw.
excellent defensive technique here. I mean, we'd have to back up and see what happened, but we were expecting things to finish in a win for maybe this transition here into the trading the bishops on h4 wasn't so good as Fegelig was able to gobble some pawns. So, but okay,
Maybe.
congratulations to the
Oh, by
is
the way,
that the Swede?
just checked who is Feigelag, or Feigelag. He is one of the best friends of Mr. Magnus Carlsen, I
Oh
believe.
yeah.
Johannes Loangtep Quisla.
Wow. Well, currently he's playing like Magnus so far, and that's a good sign. Well, he's gonna hold a draw here, I'm assuming, against Nakamura, as this is really good example for everybody here because it's really hard to lose a knight endgame versus a rook. You really have to work yourself into a corner. Unless you started off on the wrong foot, unlucky, you were sort of trapped in the corner. Most of even those positions are still draws, right, Anna? But
Hmm.
some are lost. But I mean, this should be very, very easy, very, very hard to mess these up.
Yes,
So
I think he will hold it. It's it's unlikely that he will lose it, although in Blitz anything can happen, and now the king is already on the back rank, so maybe I should just stop talking.
Celis says in the Chess TV chat, oh wait, is he finding a way to win? Iselis in the Chess TV chat on our comments about selective memory in the French said that some people have selective memory over my comments. That's true. If people didn't have selective memory over what I say on Chess TV, they would never watch a show. Because I'm bound to have offended somebody at some point in your family, and so you gotta choose to forget it, or you wouldn't keep watching. That's a fact. Look at Hikaru though. Look at this. I mean, as much as this again should still be a draw, this has become an absolute mess for White to be able to defend. But okay, he seems to have figured out that even this position, there's just... Oh, wait, no, but if he had gone back to e8, rook f7 would have been winning on the spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's
So
still making the best moves, but now isn't he lost already?
I don't even know if he's lost yet, but I know Hikaru is blowing my mind right now. I did not know that he'd be able to pull this off.
I think he will win, yes. Yeah.
No, but even here, what's the next move? I said rook g5 even. It's Zugzwang. He's got him. It's over. This is a win, a theoretical win, and Hikaru knows it. That's why he's blitzing it out.
He did
that
it.
was I am not worthy to comment.
Seven,
I am not worthy to comment anymore on Hikaru's Nakamura. I'm out. I'm retire on that right there. Seriously,
Don't leave me alone, Danny.
That was ridiculous. I was saying how easy it is to draw with the rook and the king and knight. I mean, Hikaru just gave us an absolute lesson in never listening to anything I have to say. That's the first thing. But Anna, seriously, where did White go wrong? It looks like I actually think this move, knight e7 on move 74, was already a terrible misstep, but we were distracted and I didn't say it. But just there's no reason White shouldn't have played king f6.
Yeah.
On move 74 after check.
For starters, yes.
And they had actually, and that's relevant because they had, if everybody remembers, they had just repeated a whole bunch of times with this knight coming to e7 and Hikaru not being able to make progress if you're back to this position, everybody. So the fact that he got in this position, it was finally one where he would be put in zugzwang. This was a big mistake, and now that was the first time White had to touch the 8th rank. So I think on move 74, the move king f6 would have been just the fact that it probably would have taken another dozen extra moves if Hikaru even could get to the edge, probably would have made that a draw for White because they would have reached the 50 move rule. So
yeah, exactly. They started on move 52, and this was 70-something. Yeah, he could have had much more chances of holding on, of course, if he had played king f6. You are right.
So it's not to say that White wasn't still drawing, but I guess the lesson for everybody, all jokes aside about never listen to me, is that you don't ever want to create a scenario where your king has to touch the 8th rank in these dynamics. Because just from a practical perspective, your chances of screwing up, you're not a computer, you're a human being, go way up when you put your king in the mating net. So everything should be done for White to avoid having to go backwards to the 8th rank, and that's where Fegleg lost that's where he lost his legs. First bad pun of the day. You're welcome. All right, what do we got in terms of standings, Anna?
There's still one game going on, but it's a win for White, so I think it's just a matter of time that Black will resign. So the standings, as you mentioned, we see Hikaru on 3.5, but the leaders are Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, Fenderin, Konavets, and Morozevich, Yegor Giriev. We should not forget about him, and let's hope that now Leon Beast will face Morozevich next game.
I would love, even if they don't play yet, if they both win their next game, I cannot wait for the Morozevich Mvl showdown. That is going to be, I don't know, I'm pretty excited about the finish today. I got a feeling, Anna, we could get an Armageddon. I'm just tossing it out there. I don't know why.
I want to see an Armageddon, and maybe that could be a tie for more players. So then you need to tell me what happens if there are more players tied for first place.
If there are multiple players tied, I need my team to tell me what happens. On the, go ahead and let us know in the team chat. Actually, Sam, I know you're watching. Please actually give me the info on that. I totally forgot.
Also, it could be that like there are 3 players tied, but one of them is already qualified. So then it's like if it was
if that's the case, then there's just a single. The Armageddon is only for the Speed Chess Championship slot. Everybody, prizes are split just like any other money professional tournament. But I'm pretty sure what we decided, and we went over this, before all the qualifiers started, was that there would be a bye for the player with both the highest rating and the best tie breaks through the tournament. So basically, if there were 3 players, somebody would get seeded to the final, and you would rinse and repeat that system even for 5 players. The top player would get a bye, the other 2 would play. I think. I have no idea. Somebody's going to let me know this, everybody. Don't worry. All right, we got a Nidorf. Leon Beast is not taking on Morozevich, despite our hopes and dreams. He's taking on Sam Sevion.
Not yet.
But we're locked in a theoretical Nidorf where I know Sevion is well-versed, but okay, is anybody better at the Nidorf than Maxime? The answer is no. I'll answer that question for you. But we'll see what happens here, because I actually think knight b6 was a mistake, right as I said that. Isn't knight b6 a blunder? This is a common trick in the Nidorf, everybody. Black can't take because of g5, and after knight e3, you take f6 with tempo.
But is this possible that Maxime makes a mistake on move 14 in the Nidorf?
I think it is. I mean, everybody makes mistakes, and here comes... We're going to find out. Either Maxime miscalculated, but from what I understand, this line loses
now he takes on f1?
No, but then you take e7, and again, you get another tempo on the queen. In the end of the... Yeah, in fact, he remembers himself now. He's just going down a piece. That's why he took on f6. So,
wow.
So he's going to get a little bit of compensation, but this is a theoretical blunder by the legendary Nidorf specialist, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave.
I'm just shocked that could happen, unless once again we are looking at something that maybe Maxime wanted. But it doesn't look like the position where this was a theoretical novelty, sacrificing a piece.
I know you and I have said some bad things, okay,
I know.
Commentating, and we've said that Magnus Carlsen blundered in an opening that he didn't, but I actually think I'm right about this.
He's a coffee house and coffee shop player.
Yeah, I can't wait till someone tells me I'm wrong with it, but I'm pretty sure I'm right that this was a blunder. Okay, you're right, I am going to stop talking just in
Jeffrey
case.
is with us. Thank you, Jeffrey, for being here in the chat. Last week's winner and the World Junior Champion Jeffrey Xiong is saying that this is totally bad and there's no compensation. So
thank you, Jeffrey. I knew The last opening I learned before I completely retired from being a real chess player was the Nidorf English attack, and I was pretty decent at these lines. But this is actually a common blunder that Black can make. And I think Maxime knew he had blundered with knight to b6 for the record. That's why he took on d5, because after a5, there really isn't a better choice than just go for the p sack. Because if you're backing up the knight, here white is just winning a pawn for nothing. And you played g5 first so that there's no knight takes d5. But this position is almost just as bad for Black. So I think the move knight to b6 was a blunder. Now, will Maxime go on to win this position? Probably. Right now, it looks like he's getting a ton of compensation. But, okay, knight d4 is a good move. I mean, as we said, Anna, we didn't get the matchup of Mvl versus Morozevich, but Morozevich is taking on Grandmaster Fandorine as we switch over to that one here. Whoa. This is a weird one. This is theory I don't know.
Maxim Chigayev from
Chigayev.
Russia.
Yeah, so another Russian. Here we got Russian on Russian action here. This is these guys have probably played each other more than a few times.
Yeah, certainly. What was this opening? The Karakan?
Yeah, I was just about to say, this is theory I don't know, and I'm pretty sure this is a line that white is playing these days relatively consistently. It's a sacrifice.
Yeah, look at those pawns, the black pawns on the 5th and 4th rank, those 4 pawns together. It looks like a funny
totally
setup.
Nuts. White is down 2 pawns in the live position, and okay, I wouldn't want to defend anything against Morozevich, but this is 2 pawns. We'll see if he can get an attack on the light squares. I assume he'll capture back on e6, and white will be...
Maybe he just goes knight e6. I can imagine that he sacrificed everything. Okay, he took back. So he's just...
But I think you can go for both knight to g5, knight to e5. These are all candidate moves now, and this is going to be a fun one because Black will be coming... Okay, he goes for the e5. I think it's because of the threat of knight c6 that he likes, Anna.
Yeah.
And everybody should note that moves like queen to d7 are not possible because the pony on b6 falls. So this is a... Morozevich could be busting something out here. I mean, this is interesting theory that the more I look at the position, the more I'm liking white's attacking chances.
Yeah. I'm sorry that we will need to move back, but everyone is saying that Maxime is now down a rook.
Okay, I'm looking for sure.
So he either has to resign or he really has something. I'm not seeing what he has after queen g5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Maxime blundered, and as rare as it was that Anna and I might be right for providing some criticism to a player out of the opening, but I think Maxime lost the thread on this one early, and we'll see if Sevion can take advantage of it. Although this is still a bit of a mess. I mean, I'm not really trying very hard. Let's be honest, I never do. But I don't see it. It's not an easy win here for white, right? Oh wait, okay, this is a strong move, f4.
f4 is very strong.
Bishop f6 it doesn't work, everybody, because the queen can just take it. So now what?
Yeah, and if he takes the knight, then f takes e5, and we are threatening mate on g7, so you don't have time to pick up the rook on a4, and there are no checks.
Yeah, he goes for that line, though. But still, there's, okay, the move d3 is certainly coming. Maxime might be considering whether... Okay, he goes for d3. I was wondering, he might have been considering taking the pawn first, but okay, so for sure, computers playing white, this position wins every time, and even for players of this level, white should win up a rook, but it's tricky, right? The white king is going to be under fire from now until the end game ends, and that's something that is always hard to do when you're under time pressure.
Yeah, this is still tricky because of the facts that you mentioned, but e6 is once again such a strong move, so Sevian is playing very well.
But I was just about to say, but you know what? f5, and I wonder if he could have taken c2 first. Well, but Sevian had calculated this.
Ooh.
Obviously, Maxime is pointing out that he's fine with a draw, and Sevian will have to find something better than a perpetual.
It's not easy with this rook on a4. He's a rook up, but his rook is not doing anything. Neither the g1 rook is helping. So...
Whoa, that's e8, though. He allows e8 with that move. But look at that. Look at his willingness to go down 2 rooks. If e8 queen takes king g7, he's got a double attack, and white has no checks.
Yeah, no, he can just give perpetual with the queen all the time, but how can he win without activating his rooks?
He'll play rook g2 at the end of that line. I mean, something like e8 queen,
Yeah.
everything gets taken. He can play rook to g2, which will save the rook and guard the c2 pawn. But it's a nutty position, and he doesn't have a lot of time to figure it out. This is okay. Is he going to repeat? What are his
Oh,
goals
he took
here?
on
Okay,
g6. He sacrificed the rook on g6.
but
But does this help?
he finds nothing but another fancy way to open up for more checks. And at this point, I'm looking at MVL trying to win this position down a rook. Look how out of play this rook on a4 is, Anna. Call me crazy,
Exactly. No,
but who's playing
this
for a
is
win
bad.
here?
Why did he sacrifice on g6? Now the other rook
I
is
don't
just
know.
useless.
Who's playing for a win here, right? Are we
Black.
crazy?
I will take black.
This is insane.
Wow. I can't believe it. He was like
Yeah, I was going to say.
material down the whole game and
he has to be
two
super
rooks
careful. If he allows any check by this queen to trade queens, everybody, it's going to be a win for white. But maybe now MVL is going to settle on the draw. Nope, no draws today.
he certainly has a draw, or can white escape?
I don't know.
No, not anymore.
Now
This is a
Maxime
draw.
wants to win. This is insane.
This is a draw.
Okay, they're going to head for a draw. Okay, whoa, that was
Crazy.
wild, right? That was wild. A seriously awesome hold by MVL for being lost out of the opening, but then by the end you felt like he was somehow playing for a win down a rook that was useless on the side of the board. Amazing.
Well, we still don't know what was going on in this game objectively, but it was beautiful to see that Maxime, with two rooks down, still had chances.
Yeah, and moving to 4.5 out of 5, as we see in the standings, is Sevor Morsky, who took down Nakamura. As we check on an upset alert here, we were not following this game, but Hikaru Nakamura fell down in this game here, as it looks like Black was about to get a queen. Who is this masked man? I will find out right now. Alexander, someone from Ukraine. I'm going to figure out who he is right now. Oh, wow. Severmorsky is Alexander Moisenko.
Oh.
So that's a very, very strong grandmaster, 2,700 plus.
Did not realize that he was also playing. These super grandmasters are hiding under fake names.
So this, and I don't even think it was meant to be anonymous. I don't even think he knew. But this is Grandmaster Moisenko, everybody. So if you're wondering, now we know that is not an easy game for Nakamura, and he falls. So he stays at 3.5 out of 5. Moisenko moves to 4.5 out of 5, as we can see him here listed. But how did?
Oh, Morozevich fell.
I was gonna say I was looking for him at the top, and that's why I couldn't see him, because Morozevich lost to Grandmaster Fandorin. As we check out what the final position was in that game, he won on time, but in a winning position. So Moro was unable to prove that exciting gambit. If you remember, everybody, we left the position somewhere around here with e6, and I liked knight e5. Wow, Fandorin, Chigayev just went right for it, allowing knight to c6, and flipped the tables here. He sacrifices the piece on e7, but Moro goes all in with bishop f5.
The knight is not coming back from e7. Maybe that was the
but can he just move? Can he move the rook back to e1 and then play the knight to f5 on the next move? I guess there's some sort of. There's also the b6 knight hanging. This was a mess of a position. I have no idea.
No, perhaps he has something, but it was critical, this position for sure, where he went bishop f5 instead, and then the knight was pinned on the e file.
And somehow all of Black's pieces end up coming to life at the right time with this move knight e4, and Black just starts taking pieces. And Morozevich was lacking a puzzle book mate. And sometimes you get there and you're like, where's my mate? Where's my puzzle book mate? Like, where is it, right? And it's just not there. All right, well, round 6 has started. Now Grandmaster Chigayev, who is on pace currently. Is he the only 5-0, Anna? I think. I think Shigeyev
I
is the
think
only
so.
5-0.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let me double check, but I don't see anybody else with the perfect score. Yeah, Fenderin, sole leader after 5 rounds. Of course, still 5 rounds left, so anything can happen. And Casey is number 2 now. We did not see his games today, but he was doing well last week as well. And I still don't know his name, and he is still from the Ukraine. And still, you might wonder whether it's Anna Muzichuk, and we confirmed that it's not her.
That's right. That's right. I didn't tell you that one, right? I kept that one on
No,
the
I don't know
DL.
who he is.
It was not who you. It wasn't. It wasn't a Muzichuk or anybody else. Super famous. So, but we'll get that one out there soon. All right. Well, we have Shigeyev taking on Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. I mean, this is kind of the game of the round. Certainly, if Shigeyev is going to separate himself and move along with his chances to qualify, it would be a good start to go 6-0 by beating MVL, right? And we have
Yeah.
another Nidorf. Shigeyev now
Sorry,
plays.
I was just reading in the chat a question that is if the qualifier of today is going to face Magnus Carlsen, and it's not sure. He might face Magnus, or he might face Hikaru, he might face MVL or Sergei Karyakin. And I
Right.
think then if you explain once again the system, how it will be decided, because I like it.
Yeah, let's do that again while the games are just getting started and there's a chance for the openings to catch up. So as you look at the bracket here, everybody, there are 4 people who will qualify. We know 3 of them. In the interest of time, I won't say other names, but the 4 players will have until May 1st to play whatever they want on Chess.com. But as of May 1st at midnight Pacific time, the highest rated players on Chess.com with their blitz ratings will have their choice. They will get to pick, so that provides a lot of motivation for them to play and to increase their rating, to give them flexibility in terms of dates and opponents. The dates have already been set, so these qualifiers have to play on the dates that the top players have agreed to. Magnus Carlsen will be on October 5th. MVL is on August 23rd, I believe. Nakamura plays next week on May 3rd. He literally plays a week from tomorrow. And Sergei Karyakin plays on May 24th. So the qualifiers have motivation to play Anna and improve their blitz rating so that they can pick not only who they want to play in terms of schedule, but also in terms of style. And we'll probably have a news announcement that goes up right at midnight Pacific time on May 1st. Somewhere, I mean, we are going to be all over this. By we, I mean I will be sleeping, but somebody will be writing a news report at midnight Pacific time, and it's going to go up real fast. So, okay, so we have a G3 Nidorf. Shigeyev knows what he's doing, but again, he's playing Maxime. So we'll see how this one breaks down. I always like white in these positions. Positionally, I just feel like the grip on the light squares, and okay, here he just gobbles up the B3 pawn.
But
But MVL has...
can he keep it?
Yeah, the
He has
B2
to go
pawn is
queen.
falling behind it.
Yeah, and now queen b7, and then knight a5.
Queen to b7, knight a5, yeah, so he has to go for some other form of compensation. Maxime regularly surprises me with his ability to get something really good through the dynamics of black's position, but I always look at this and prefer white.
Yeah, and I like black a lot because I think he has so much compensation for the pawn. You could not take this pawn on f5 because of bishop takes and queen b7 winning a piece. So I think that he's doing fine, but bishop d4 now. Yeah, white is defending well, so maybe I was over-optimistic.
Well, let's check in on a game that's a fun one, not necessarily for the standings, but we have Jakub Norwitz, legendary blitz and bullet specialist, taking on the chess queen herself. So this is a fun one, a fun matchup. Alexander Kostyniuk is better, I think, in this position, but it's a weird one with the black pieces kind of putting a clamp down on the queen side right now. But I feel like white can work her way out of this, and if I'm not wrong, positionally, it seems like white might have a small advantage. Okay, well, Jakub is ready to sacrifice the g7 pawn.
Yeah, he wants to play bishop g6 afterwards, I think, and just trap the rook on g7. But you can go bishop g5, bishop f6. Though the rook will still not move.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a funny thing, but the biggest issue right now for Alexandra is her time, right? Obviously, she's taking on Norwitz, who is very, very fast, and he's using a time advantage right now, up more than a minute on the clock. So this will be an interesting one to follow. Nakamura is still full throttle in the tournament right now, taking on Pastucho 6. Looks like he should be going on to win this position. I don't see many things wrong with just trading rooks on e8 and then picking up the knight here. Probably just going to be better in the ending with the rook and the bishop. All right, but so let's go back. Let's go back to the game between Shigeev and Mvl. Ooh, because Mvl is he's
I
flipping
like
the
it.
script
He
to
has
the king
managed to bring
side.
his rook to the g file.
I love it. Yeah, he's down a couple pawns, but he's on full tilt in regards to the kingside attack. He doesn't even want that rook. Of course, you don't want to give up the light square bishop. I'd rather play queen to c8, but maybe
Yeah,
white
don't
just
touch the rook.
parries. Maybe white just parries that threat with king h2. So how does black increase the attacking chances here, Anna?
I don't know, but if you have to protect the pawn, then maybe you will end up having to capture this rook, even if you don't want to give up the bishop.
Well, you
So
have
this is a
bishop f6,
positional
right?
exchange sacrifice.
Yeah, I mean, it seems that taking here is just never going to be fun. I mean, especially with the rook and king being trapped the
Yeah.
way they are, you have
No,
to
you
love
don't
white's
want to
chances.
take
So I would prefer bishop f6 or defend the pawn dynamically by calculating something that neither one of us really has the bandwidth to look at right now. But we'll see what MVL comes up with.
Yeah, this is a critical moment for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Rook d5 was a very strong move. I'm
I wish I could
surprised
go
we
queen
haven't.
c8, queen h3 very quick, but I'm not getting there in time.
Okay, he goes for it, so he decides he has to risk it, or he sees some way to wiggle out of the pin there. Maybe just king h6 immediately he's going to play.
Yeah, I wanted to say that he has king h6 if he has to, but bishop f6 simply saying that you cannot attack the rook on g6.
Yeah, it's true, but the rook on g6 and the king on h6 can't really move either. I mean, I like king h1, and here comes a way to attack the rook, right? Relocating the bishop to this diagonal.
Yeah, maybe
Okay.
now he will go. Okay, he just took the pawn on b4 because of the pin. It was possible to take on b4.
I don't like this approach by Shigeev, though. Shigeev, because look at this. Now,
Yeah, after king h6, he doesn't have anything.
yeah, he was really relying on getting an attack and gave up all the compensation on the queen side. So I'm surprised we haven't seen Shigeev win one of these yet, Anna. He's also played in almost every one, I think. And we mentioned a lot of the regulars, and he's just a blitz legend. I mean, he's a phenomenal rapid blitz player. So given how much he's played, I'm surprised we have not seen him find a way. But it looks like if he's unable to convert on this one, where he was definitely better against MVL, then his chances of winning this go down big time. All right,
Yeah,
well,
he's going to lose this one unless Maxime blunders, but I don't think so. I think now he is in control of the game.
yeah, queen e5. Although d7 is coming. Okay, so queen f6 decides he doesn't care about this h-pawn. Rook h6, and okay, e4 is going to fall, but d6 is falling, and the biggest thing if you're MVL is you can't take d6 right away because there would have been some sort of checkmate ideas on g7. So he's being very careful. But unfortunately, this is not enough.
Yeah,
Shigeev played what he could.
it can be the a4 pawn as well is hanging afterwards.
Yeah. He did what he could under time pressure, but it's just not enough to hold this one. Well, I guess that's why he hasn't been able to win one yet, because he's has to play guys like MVL, right? I mean, it's not that easy.
It's annoying. These guys.
Not that easy to win a title Tuesday, that's for sure.
Yeah, they are already qualified and they come here to spoil others' party.
Good question.
But they have the right to do so.
User Ace Mar from the Chess TV chat wants to know who we have to pick. Who we would pick to win the whole Speed Chess Championship? Well, to keep you here, to keep everybody here, Ann and I will do a little bit of a post game show afterwards. We'll talk about the bracket and who we expect to play who, and maybe at that time we'll give our predictions overall. Obviously, it's hard to pick against Magnus Carlsen, but we've got a lot of new blood this year. It's not just Carlsen and Nakamura there as the two favorites. I think there's a lot of players who could win the Speed Chess Championship this year. So you and I, you up for that? After the show, we'll do a little bit of a mini breakdown.
Of course, we should do that. We should also try to guess which qualifier will play who.
Yep.
If they can choose, who will they pick, and afterwards, who is going to win the speed chess. I still need to think about that, so I will use this time in between games to try to think about that as well.
Well, Anna and I will have the call on May 3rd for the first official match, which will be Nakamura versus one of the 4 qualifiers. But an impressive game there by Maxime. I don't think it was all sound, but in a practical, from a practical perspective, he knew he was in trouble on the queen side, and he launched this attack. Right, you got to give Maxime a lot of credit. Then he handled this exchange sacrifice better than I thought he would. He took it, surprising, and then found a way to wiggle his way out of that really, really ominous-looking pin over there. So, awesome play by MVL. Where does that leave us in terms of the standings? He now jumps back into a tie for first at 5.5 out of 6.
And Casey is also shared first, and Rabani. I don't know him yet.
I'm looking forward to what Moisenko can do, right? I mean, he's somebody who hasn't played in a lot of these Title Tuesdays, but certainly a contender, right? Especially with Moro falling now at 5 out of 6. You got to look at Moisenko as the we'll call him the strongest GM on paper, right? I think Moisenko comes in with a 2,700 plus FIDE rating. So
but also Fedoseyev, and I still can't rule out that Morozevich will start a winning streak and he ends up winning somehow the tournament, because he can do it. He's capable of it.
Absolutely. Well, Moisenko, not to be confused with Moskalenko, who has already played in a lot of our events and is now number 14 there. Hikaru did win, so he's at 4.5 out of 6. And remember, we haven't really had anybody win one of these things with 9 out of 10. I think 8.5 out of 10 has been the highest score, which was matched by Jeffrey Zhang last week. So as you look at some of these really top players still at 4.5 out of 6, we still have 4 rounds to go. And if they keep winning, there's a good chance they'll get themselves back in the mix. All right, Anna. Well, who's still playing?
2 games are still going on. Matin 2-8-0-6 against W and Stop. 2 FIDE Masters. It's a knight and 2 pawns against the rook.
We'll let them play it out as we relax here and get ready for round 7.
I'll check if the other position is somewhat more exciting.
But okay, we just saw a rook outplay a knight just a little bit ago.
Yeah, it could happen. And if he had seen Hikaru's game, it's something that he should have seen before playing this position.
Yeah, well, and again, I mean, even that one should have been an easy draw as well. But, this operation where the king sort of works its way forward, being on the diagonal of the knight, your goal is to try to create some sort of zugzwang, as we saw, where the king and knight have to go back to the 8th rank. And, again, even though those positions are still drawn, it becomes, just from a practical perspective, so much harder to hold as white. So that's what black is trying to do here.
He's getting it, because once again, the knight has to go to a weird place.
Right, but even there, I think king to d6 would have been fine. I mean, this is a good example of why it's so hard. Now the king should come forward. Anytime you have this chance,
yeah, you have to go forward.
Just come forward again. Even, I mean, the king to d5 was also fine there, but okay, black is flustered with this position nonetheless.
He's still got plenty of moves to make, because it was on move 84 the last time that they had exchanged pieces.
Okay.
So yeah, he can try forever.
All right, well, let's take a look at the chat. Anything interesting going on there? Any good questions?
Shout out to Ben Feingold, who is here with us.
Classic Ben.
CCSCA.
Classic
Why is
Ben.
Ben not playing? Ben, why are you not playing?
Yeah, Ben, why aren't you playing? No, he's not here, so we can't ask him. But no, Ben's in the chat. That's awesome. We know Jeffrey's been here. I'm gonna go check on the Twitch chat, see what's going on with the Twitchers.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of fun. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Obviously, this is a 4th qualifier before things really kick off. Next week, May 3rd, Hikaru Nakamura will play the first match. The Twitch chat also pretty active. Appreciate everybody tuning in. If you came right from the Reykjavik Open coverage with Grandmaster Simon Williams and Women's International Master, or is she Women's FIDE Master, Fiona? I don't remember.
Women's
International
international
master.
master.
So if you came right from that coverage, first of all, you might need to check yourself what you're doing on a Tuesday, because that means you've been watching chess for like 7 hours straight, and I'm not sure you're making the best life choices. What's up, Dubs?
Chess League, it was even worse. Don't you remember
Oh
those
yeah.
16 hours of nonstop chess?
Hey everybody, JHG023, Awig, J-Rope, Dubs11, don't yell at me. Everybody's yelling. Amon got his grandmaster norm in the Reykjavik Open today.
Congratulations to Aman, and he played a brilliant game, perhaps the best game of his life so far, against Alexei Shirov. So you must check that out on
You know what?
Chess.com YouTube channel.
Like most of you, I'm rooting for Amon to get the GM title just so he shaves. I mean, that thing is getting out of control, right? Am I right? His beard is getting
nuts. Is that a bet that he has to become a GM to shave his beard?
Like most things the Canadians do, it's self-imposed affliction. He's making the choice himself to torture himself with that unruly facial hair. You like how I slipped that Canadians joke in? That was awesome. We got a lot of Canadian coworkers at Chess.com too, so I take every chance I can to throw a shot there at the neighbors, the big hat of America. All right, here we go. We've got Leon Beast taking on Casey. With a bit of a Lopez. Alexander Kosteniuk is taking on Yannick Gazzoli.
Oh.
So that's a fun one.
Oh, by the way, Ben has answered us that he's not playing because this event is... What is this event for a reigning world champion? Let's not forget that they have won the Pro Chess League with the St. Louis Archbishops.
That's right. When you win the Pro Chess League, everything else it's gum on your shoe, right? It's small potatoes. So, but look at that. We got Morozevich versus Nakamura this round. This is definitely the game of the round, and it's got to stink if you're Moro, right? You're 5 out of 6, and you get Nakamura, who's 4.5 out of 6, right? So somebody's chances of winning this event are coming to an end with this game right here.
What happened there?
Unfortunately, it looks like Hikaru... No, he didn't. I thought he made another bad decision of playing a French, but he didn't. He plays E5, and... okay, what's going on here? This is weirdness. All kinds of weirdness. Bishop pair. Weak E3 pawn, but white's got a big space advantage.
I like white. I like it somehow. I'm not sure why I like it, but I like it.
Okay. I think Queen E1 makes sense, and I agree with you. I kind of like white's position too, but F6 is coming for black. I think black needs to try to open up the dark square diagonal at the risk of, you always have to be careful. You're opening up the king there. Will there be tactics? But I think Moro is calculating not just how to defend this pawn, but how to deal with a move like F6 that's coming. So that would be my guess. But let's keep it locked right here, along with checking in on MVL's game, because this is the matchup of the round for sure. Right here.
And I still don't know who is Casey.
Oh, you want me to tell you? You're tired of the suspense? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. You could have just asked. All right. No, I'm kidding. You did ask a million times. All right. Let's see here. When they cross this line and when they're in prize contention, as we've told them, time to reveal the identity of Grandmaster Martin. Kravtsev.
He's also a strong grandmaster.
Yeah, so there you go. And that's why I told you it wasn't somebody that would be jumping out at you. It's Martin Kravtsev. All right.
He's doing fine, isn't he doing fine?
Yeah, I was going to say, he's got his F file open, but he's still got his work cut out for him here against MVL. Will we see an exchange sack on F3? Maybe even right now?
He's thinking of that. He's certainly considering E takes F3 right now, not capturing on E7.
Yeah, either taking here with the rook. I think taking with the pawn would make more sense if you're going to do it now, and he does
it.
He
did
there
it.
You go.
He's sacrificing an exchange against MVL.
Yeah, he's 26-35 FIDE. So for those of you who are wondering what's his strength, Martin is he's a pretty good player. So there we go. I've got this new stress reliever, and I've got this spinner that all the cool kids use. It's like a gaming thing. It's a spinner.
Is this so stressful to be commentating with me?
No, it's not about commentating with you. It's the multitasking of,
All right.
tournament management and production and commentating. But no, this is the best part of it. I can't wait for the main event to start. I'm going to tell you what, next week when we're covering Hikaru's match with whoever that is going to be so much fun. Then we get to have the players on camera, which just makes it
exactly. That's
so
the
much
best
more exciting.
part.
Yeah, no, so we get to see all of Hikaru's facial expressions, the blunders, the brilliancies. We get to see Naka number 7, where he nods his head like he's thinking, but we all know he really knows what's going on. We get to see all of Hikaru's legendary facial expressions. All right. Well, Maxime is calculating. I'm not sure what he's... so I guess the issue is, does he keep the rook on a5? Does he bring it back to a3? He can't really orchestrate c5 at this point without the d5 pawn falling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he has to make sure he's not dropping it. Sorry?
There's no threat in this position for black. Like, no serious threat, because h3 is already defended by the queen.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's some pressure, and yeah, we shall see if this exchange sacrifice was a good sacrifice. Maybe it's not enough, but it's a very brave move by Mr. Kravtsev, playing with the black pieces from the Ukraine.
Yep, agreed. And the issue now, though, see, normally you would look at this position and think, oh, black should have compensation for the exchange with weak light squares and a light squared bishop. But the problem is none of black's pieces are ideally placed, right? I mean, they're sort of trapped over here on the queen side. So what you would normally think in terms of compensation for an exchange sack would be an attack against the king. It's not so simple here for the Ukrainian.
Exactly. And this rook on a5, it reminds me of the rook on a4 that we saw in Maxime's game, where he was 2 rooks down, but there was this rook on a4 not doing anything. And so it's a similar situation, but now Maxime has this not so useful rook on a5.
Yeah, and the d5 pawn is weak, and so that's the problem. Does he keep the rook there to keep this bishop, caged in, or does he find some other way to deal with his light squares? I think he's got to prepare himself to lose that d5 pawn, but be okay. But black is getting a ton of compensation here. This is really impressive. This rook
I think he has been playing very well, and it seems that the exchange sacrifice was a very good choice. If this is all true, that white had no better moves than this position. I agree
totally, and
so much pressure on the f5. The d5 pawn is always hanging. Next move can be queen f7, attacking this pawn once again. I like it. I like black's chances. Maybe it's still not enough, but it looks like he's putting a lot of pressure on MVL.
Well, this last move, though, queen b6 was really great, though. Look at it, because now it's...
Yeah, the d6 pawn hanging and queen d8.
Yeah, he had to play queen e7 and relieve the pressure on the f-file, which was big for white, because...
and queen a7, suddenly the white queen is dangerous, but this is once again the case where just the queen alone will not do anything. So yes, it's dangerous, but he will need the rooks as well, and he cannot bring them.
Yeah, and the rooks are both stuck, one to the f2 pawn, the other to the d5 pawn. So I agree. This is a strange position. I don't know how to evaluate.
Maybe they will repeat moves: queen b8, queen h8.
Possible. Yeah. Well, no, MVL wants more right now.
But he had to give up the d5 pawn in order to do this. Okay, now rook a7. Yeah, he gave up the pawn for the a6 pawn. Okay, yeah, now this is trouble.
Black is going to sacrifice the queen.
Yeah, he did.
Have plenty of material for the queen here, right? I mean, this is... Okay,
yeah,
so
I mean...
No way black is better, but even with the d6 pawn falling with check, this is not an easy position for white at all. White better be careful here, right? You almost thought there might have been some sort of weird mate there, but no.
Yeah, he managed to pick up the d6 and the e5 pawn as well. But this is still not easy. I mean, how do you win this?
I don't think either does. I think it's... Whoa, blunder, rook to d7!
You win like this.
Oh, he blundered with rook to d7.
This is
Oh,
how you win it. You make your opponent blunder.
that's really
Oh.
too bad for Black. We were just about to say there is no way to win this,
And
but
he still wants a fortress. Poor him. I mean, I'm sorry for Casey because he was playing
that's
so well and
he was
so
playing so
brave.
well, and I was going to say Black is in no business to lose this game. I mean, anything was. I mean, just put the rook on d8. That might have been a mouse slip, honestly.
Must have
It's
been a mistake.
such an obvious blunder. It
Yeah.
makes me think it was just a mouse slip, and he had full intentions to go to the 8th rank and then come over here. And Black is doing. There's no way for White to win at all.
Oh,
But
so
well,
painful.
sometimes that's how title players, or sorry, sometimes that's how title Tuesdays are won. And right now, MVL is certainly benefiting from the blunder there by his opponent at 6.5 out of 7, along with an international master, Rubhani, who we're going to figure out who he is right now. Or we're going to figure out very soon, as soon as he starts his next game, because he's going to be playing against MVL, and that's going to be an interesting one.
Rubani, who on his profile it says that he's called Rubani from Israel.
Though we didn't finish and follow the full thing, it looks like Hikaru did take care of business against Moro. So unfortunately, the Russian Grandmaster's first title Tuesday will not be a victory for him. There's just no way that he's going to be able to come back now with 2 losses. So Hikaru did get f6, Anna, as we were discussing. Back in this position that we left with Hikaru and Moro, Queen h6. He played f6, which is what we thought would happen, and I think it instantly changes things where we suddenly have to like Black because of the open diagonals for the bishops.
Yeah.
And Hikaru, the biggest thing it seems like in this game, looking at how it was won, he won on time with nearly a minute left on the clock. So seems like Hikaru was just too fast for Morozevich, and that was a big part of the problem. Went on to win this endgame with a better pawn structure. White having too many positional weaknesses. Hikaru eventually gets a pass pawn and goes on to win here. Very, very nice technique, actually, with this sort of picking apart of things. Okay, well, that means Hikaru is still in the running, though. If we jump back to the standings, Anna, that means Hikaru sits at 5.5 out of 7, along with some others.
So we will see Leon Beast facing Rubani, still a mysterious player from Israel. And lots of players
Rubani is International Master Grinberg.
Oh.
Grinberg, International Master Grinberg. So, E.L. Grinberg.
I don't know him, but it seems that he's very good at billets.
I've learned from doing a lot of these Title Tuesdays that it's a big world out there, and I don't know who most of the title players are. So that's what I've learned. It's not a small world after all. Disney was wrong. It is a big world, and I have no idea who all the title players are. All right, well, this should be fun, watching some of these big games happen down the stretch. Leon Beast will take on Rubani. That's a kind of a forced pairing with them sitting as the only 2 6.5s, and the rest of the field is going to be a mess. It starts to get complicated here where you can't really predict the pairings. Players have to jump score groups because if they've already played somebody within their score group, they can't play the same person. So it gets a little messy, but it should be fun. So, okay, Morozevich goes down.
Still a game going. Oh, no, it has just finished, the last game. I was wondering why are we not starting. There was still a game going on that has just finished. So we shall...
And we're off to see the wizard. The wonderful Wizard of Leon, and that is MVL, who's Black, against International Master E.L. Grinberg. All right, this should be a fun one. What are the other big matchups? We have Hikaru taking on Sergey Azza. This should be an interesting one as well. Hikaru back to his old hedgehog tricks. The former women's world champion, Alexander Kostyuk, is taking on Biostatistician, who's a big fan favorite on Chess.com, plays a lot on Chess.com.
Oh, did not know. Spanish.
Shigeev is taking on Fressinet, so that's an interesting, not necessarily a critical matchup for the top standings, but here you have a couple of super, super strong grandmasters going at it right here. Fressinet and Shigeev, who is Van der Rijn. So let's pick our poison. We also got Morozevich taking on regular title Tuesday aficionado Carlos Ibarra. So this is a...
Not an easy game after having lost
to Hikaru.
I also see Eric. We haven't checked Eric yet. He's facing Yuri Solo.
Yuri Solo. Eric is taking on Yuri Solo.
Solodovnichenko from Ukraine.
Trying to
Which
find
one
his game.
would you like to pick so that we are not switching too much?
Well, I think we should probably keep our eye on at least the top, the Leon Beast and the Grimberg game.
Sure, let's go back to Leon Beast then. Although the position so far is not very exciting, but this is the game between the leaders, so we have to see what's going to happen here.
If someone wins this game, they move to 7.5, right, out of 8, which is going to be a pretty tough score to catch up with for most players. So I like Black's position so far, despite the lack of development on the queen side. I look at this as these pawns sort of making up for that, gaining space on the king side. Whoa.
I like how Maxime chooses his openings. It's always so interesting. He never has a boring position.
What just happened there? Either White has calculated some sort of brilliant piece sacrifice, or...
Ooh, I completely missed the moment when he pushed c3. Isn't that just a one-move blunder?
Either it's a one-move blunder or there's a queen trap coming, because after rook a3...
Queen
but yeah,
takes
it
b2?
seems like it must have been a one-move blunder, because queen takes b2, there was no follow-up. I mean, and now Black can choose between moves like e4. But here's the question: how does the queen get out even after that?
Maybe it doesn't. Maybe he has to give up the queen, but now he's threatening the bishop, so he would have a rook and 2 pieces in case of rook a3 in this position.
Yeah, this is amazing. This seems like a super awkward way to trap the queen on the edge of the board when you have to play a passive move like the move rook f to b1.
Yeah, there's just no way back from b3.
Yeah, fascinating. Wow, what a nice combination there.
So maybe c3 was not a blunder after all?
It seems like c3 was not a blunder, at least in terms of the queen
not
being
wait a second,
able to find her
after
way out.
b5? He's coming out?
Yeah, he gets the move queen to c4, and he does get out.
And
amazing.
It doesn't seem that you have a useful move. If that was a discovered attack, attacking something with the queen, but there's just no hanging piece.
Wow. And weird, a little bit of weird compensation for White, but overall, I guess we're back to thinking c3 was a blunder. See how quickly we change? It's because we're just, we're humble, we're willing to be convinced. It's not because we're wrong. We're just kind of going with the flow. So. But that's
why from next week on it's going to be easier because we will see their faces.
That's right. So we'll have a little bit of a better idea of what's going on. Although some of the players, depending on how stone-faced they are, make it a little tricky to know how they feel emotionally.
I think Hikaru makes it easy. So
Hikaru makes it pretty easy to know how he feels about it. Look at this weird position, though. It's funny because still, despite all that, this is not the easiest. This is not the easiest piece that MVL has ever won, I'm sure, right? I mean,
no,
there's
the
a whole
b8
bunch of
knight
pawns
cannot move.
A ton of cramped development over here on the king side the queen side. And White continues to play really good moves here. This threat of c5 coming, Anna, that could be 3 passed pawns over there.
Yeah. Maybe the c3 will end up being once again a brilliancy. I can't believe it. One move we say it's a blunder, next move it's just the best move of the week.
Yeah, this is crazy. It seems like Black will find a way to weasel out a little bit if this knight gets to d7, but I don't know that White should be hesitant at all to just play. Yeah, I was going to say just play c5 here, and now c6 and then b6, and I think that likely White is winning back some material here for sure.
Yeah, why is he not doing that? Is there something after c6 that he's afraid of?
I think he was just... He's just calculating, confirming that's what he wants to do, but it seems to be pretty straightforward, and now b6 seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah, actually I don't understand why is he thinking, is he calculating knight takes d3 and then bishop a6, but then b5 anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. This is craziness. MVL playing very well as well.
Why the b6? I'm Sorry, but I don't understand why he didn't push. And now I don't want to give up the dark squared bishop. I wanted to give up the light squared bishop.
I agree. I think pushing b6 made more sense before. Now it's a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
But it looks like he's going to win back material anyway. Despite the fact that black is up 2 pieces currently, I don't think that he can hold him. I mean, MVL can play bishop to d4, but it would seem that then he's down the exchange and probably doesn't have anything really to show for it. He should probably just move the rook and go into the opposite bishop ending.
Yeah, so
Right.
that's why he played bishop f1 to end up in an opposite color bishop endgame. That's very deep.
Wow.
This is
Phenomenal.
still
Phenomenal game. This game has been
still a
mind-blowing
mess.
to me. I have not understood many of the moves. G4 check is coming, but white has played really, really well, and this is a good chance to draw. I mean, an international master right up there here. This is his best chance to maintain the lead if he can hold a draw right here.
He could have mouse slipped to bishop e2 and g4 mate after h takes. But
Yeah, that would have been fun. Not really, but it would have been fun for us, right? He's defending really well, though. I mean, the obstacle bishop ending is not an easy win at all for black, if it's winning at all, because it's hard for black to coordinate without these pawns coming under fire. Okay, so now white, though, has to commit to defending the pawn. I'm not sure pushing all the way to b7 right away was the best, because if white's pieces get tied down to guarding b7, maybe this white king falls into a mating net.
Mm-hmm.
The more the game goes on, the more I think Maxime wins this one. It just seems like he's got the time advantage, right? White is now really coming under fire.
Yeah, but he's playing well. He's now exchanging a pair of rooks.
Yeah, that was the nice idea. You can follow it with rook f8 check and gobble up the f5 pawn. But still, white is in a mating net, and that's not fun.
And black king getting to g3.
Yeah. White has to find some way to get the king out and fast. MVL is going to make it very tricky. Probably some move to attack the bishop here. Okay, or this is even better.
Cutting the king. Yeah. King g3. Afterwards, he will win this. Yeah, with the king cut on the second rank.
Okay, he gives check first, but I think that what's the point? After the king moves to e1, what's the follow-up? You have to move to e1, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand why is he thinking.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah, he can go to g1, but
does he have a bad connection or something? Okay, he must have had some sort of...
I know.
No, it must have been some sort of small lag, because he apparently moved with 1.4 seconds left. All right, but black is still in the driver's seat with a number of moves. Yeah, I was wondering if he was going to play it. But
that's why he doesn't want to take back on f3, but g3 afterwards.
Yeah, but now the rook's hanging. Yeah, white just blundered the rook.
Oh.
Wow. That was a fascinating game. First of all, just a brilliant blunder. That's how we're going to classify c3. It was a brilliant blunder.
Yeah.
White plays c3 and loses the knight on b3. But apparently it wasn't for free, as black had to spend the next several moves trying to worsen his position to weasel the queen out. And even though MVL achieved that, it came at a price, because white gets a ton of pawns.
Yes.
And a huge potential advantage over here on the queen side. But Maxime played just incredibly accurate moves, finds a way to get the knight out to d7. And I think that this move here, you were right, Anna, move 25 bishop f1. If I was playing white, I would have just gone forward with b6. But
me too.
But maybe, it's not so clear, right? Because if b6, knight takes d3, even this was a mess. I mean, obviously, if you take back the knight, the bishop comes to a6 with tempo. If you play b7, it's kind of similar, right? I mean, he could take on b7, and we get a same color bishop ending, right?
Yeah.
So
yes, it was a mess, and I agree. Brilliant blunder.
A brilliant blunder there, and almost paid off there. Let's go over to the game still in progress here between Morozevich and Ibarra. Looks like we're about to get a draw as... okay, it's not agreed to yet, but even a good Russian schoolboy like Moro can't win this rook ending. So it's over. Hikaru also drew against Grandmaster Sergey Aza, so that that puts us also in a position. Let's go check on the standings.
Leon is leading with 7.5, and Gosainov is clear second, half a point behind.
Yeah, that'll be a tough one in the next round.
Yeah, they face each other
versus Maxime. Moskalenko right there as well still. And look at Bobby Hess at 6 out of 8. Rocking the top 10 headed into the final rounds. All right, I love it. Here we go. Guseynov versus MVL. But given the way Maxime's been playing today and some of the luck he's had, obviously he benefited. You know, he won, as we saw. He won that game in round 7 that he really didn't have any business winning with the rook blunder. So, but Maxime seems poised to win this event. And if he wins this game and moves to 8.5 out of 9, right? You can ship it as they say.
He can do that. And then second place could qualify. Maybe Robert. He can, if he manages to win the last 2 games.
Yeah, that's a good point, right? I mean, MVL, if he takes first, he's not actually taking the qualification spot away from any of these guys. So,
he's just taking their points away.
That's right. He's just taking their points away. He's not taking the spot. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull up Robert's game as well. We'll follow that if we can here. So many games going. I will find it. I will just do it the old-fashioned way by typing the username. There we go.
And Rubani is facing Hikaru. I see that.
And we have it right here. Robert is taking on Shigayev.
Oh.
So that's a tough one. Black against this 2,700 plus player. But that's going to be a fun one. So we've got Robert and Shigayev. We've got Leon Beast, MVL, and Guseynov. Hikaru's taking on the international master who only recently fell. Kind of a tough pairing for that IM to get a couple of super-grandmasters like back-to-back, right? And Morozevich is playing Ibarra, although it looks like they took a... Oh, no, that was the previous round.
They played the previous, yeah.
Morozevich is actually playing Tregubov, the husband of women's world champion Alexandra Kostyniuk, former women's world champion. So Tregubov is playing in his first title Tuesday today, for the record. He was his wife invited him to come play, and he said okay. That's actually not a joke. I'm not making that up. That is what happened.
I think that's the only family playing in the speeches qualifier. Aren't they the only ones?
At least today. I don't know. Yeah.
Because last week we saw the reigning U.S. women's champion playing, and also her fiancé.
That's right.
So they were both participating.
Sabina Poyser and Elshan Moradi-Abadi. So, okay, so it's a family affair here on Chess.com. All right, well, Black is in another Morozevich position, and it looks like he's in the driver's seat here. This is a weird one. But okay, we're going to pay attention to the games that I think are a little more relevant to the overall score. Let's check on the game with MVL and Guseynov.
So Leon Beast with the white pieces, and this was a weird dragon, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, it doesn't matter anymore because they have swapped queens already, and it's not relevant. But isn't just Black doing fine?
Yeah, though right now, knight d4 was a really nice move because it cuts off the communication of the bishop and the f6 square. So
knight f6. Yeah, he might be.
Yeah,
so
if Black takes it, everybody, white plays knight f6 check with an intermezzo.
Yeah, he sacrificed the a2 pawn, but now Black might be in trouble. Bishop takes d4 was played.
Yeah, well, here Maxime can take back either way, actually, and I think knight f6 check is a very strong threat. But bishop takes, just bringing the bishop to the dark squares and asking Black how he intends to deal with knight f6 check seems to be sufficient. Yeah, and MVL does just that. So this is, okay, now Black is going to have to defend this endgame down the exchange and hope to get enough. No, Maxime doesn't want the endgame in that way. Probably a smart decision there. It looked like Black might gobble the c2 pawn and the b pawn would have been fast, so he decided instead to go for this sort of safe way to grind it out where he's a little bit better in this endgame.
Yeah, maybe he was also worried about knight e2 checks, but anyway, he went for this, and is this Is this enough? I think that the only weird stuff is about the rook on b2. Luckily, there's no dark squared bishop because it cannot move anywhere.
Yeah, well, I think that the most likely result in this one is a draw, which doesn't really hurt MVL's chances.
Yeah, I agree. Rook e4 could be played by black.
Yeah. Let's jump back over. If MVL draws this game, we have this one going down here between Robert Hess and Shigeev. Okay, well, Robert, once again, under a bit of time pressure, but not as drastic as we sometimes see.
Oh, but his position?
His position is less than ideal, we'll say. It seems less than ideal, I agree. Rook to e1 check is a bit of a problem. In fact, he decides he has to run for it. Run for it!
This doesn't seem
doesn't look like he got the best out of the opening, but what about the game between the IM who just fell, who got the bad... Oh, it's already over. Nakamura takes care of business.
To Hikaru.
Nakamura takes care of business very quickly and is on his way to actually finishing the event probably with an 8 out of 10 score if he wins his next game. So, Hikaru,
yeah, and they should play against each other still, MVL and Hikaru.
Yeah, no, good point. So, Hikaru and MVL, they're selfish today, those guys. They've already locked up their qualification spots, but they're bringing the heat anybody. Look at this move, bishop e7. Nice. The point is that knight can't take it because of knight e5 check, forking the king and queen.
Oh,
bishop. But bishop takes f3.
Yeah, maybe it was pretty, but not the best.
I think black is still in big trouble if Shigeev just takes on d6 here with the bishop.
Yeah, it would be a miracle to survive this game with the king on d7. No e pawns, no d pawns.
Oh, but you're right though. Actually, if he takes on d6, he takes on d1, and for some reason I thought there was this threat of rook e7, but there isn't. So actually, maybe like you said, maybe it looked really pretty, but turns out it wasn't the best idea for white.
And now he's thinking because he thought that bishop e7 was just winning.
Yeah, I thought bishop e7 was just winning, but then again, you don't want to be in my company. So then what? I mean, he may be calculating, the full tilt option, going nuts. Yeah, here we go. Rook takes d6. I was just thinking that the full tilt option is to open up the 7th rank because he's got threats of queen to b7 check. But okay, here's the thing. Like, even like rook to b8, that bishop on e7 is trapped.
Yeah.
Okay, he goes rook c8, but it's the same idea, right? The whole point is this bishop on e7 isn't going anywhere. Mm-hmm. I think Robert's going to win this game.
Yeah, possible. It's still dangerous, of course, and he hasn't got any time. Well, neither his opponent. Yeah, it's just a mess with no time. He should be winning, but there are tricks.
Yeah, for sure. The d6 pawn is falling, and then you've got this queen to b7 check, but a rook is a rook, as they say. And now even if it's a piece, it should still be enough for black to be winning here, but this is going to be tricky. And if you can shuffle your mic a tiny bit, it's got some static picked up a little bit.
Oh, sorry, I might have moved it. I'm so excited about this position that I might have done something to my microphone. Apologies.
No, it's okay. It's still doing it. We had this in testing. Do you mind? Is it not getting better?
I'm gonna hold it.
That's better.
Yeah,
not sure what happened there.
Piece up still, and
yeah, but now
managed
it's
to exchange queens.
What is with rook and knights today, right? Way too many rook and knight positions. Probably he should play c4 and keep the 2 passed pawns. No, he guards it that way, but the question for white is white playing for a win? I guess the answer is no. No, you can't be playing for a win here as white. No.
No, but also I don't think he is any close to losing it.
Well, this is a big game though for Robert to keep himself in contention. I mean, of all the Speed Chess Championships we've had, I think this has been his best chance to maybe finish right there at the top, right?
Yeah, 6 out of 8 is a great score, and he's doing very well against Van der Rijn.
Yep, come on, Bobby. Come on, Bobby.
He can also win this. Remember those blunders? Like, there's a knight on the board, so.
That's right. A knight is a fickle beast. not an easy one to deal with. Now the king is becoming open, but black is going to start winning some of these pawns over here for sure. So look for Bobby to take this. Look at this. Robert is working it right now. He's shaking what his mama gave him right now. He is using it right now. Look at this. He's going to win this endgame as black.
Oh, he might do that. Yes.
He's bringing the heat.
Check.
He's got knight g5 check, and then or just gobble the pawn first. Isn't rook takes b4 good? Yeah, here he goes. I love it. I love it. Okay, rook to b3 check. Indeed, if the king goes to e2, then knight g3 wins on the spot, so the king has
And
to go to
g5.
g2.
Also, if king f4, so he had to go back to g2.
Look at that. Look at Robert Hess coming through big time. Like the way he works it. No diggity. Okay? He is he's going to win this endgame and with it put himself in position. Okay, now there's a number of things. Even king f3, I was going to say. Yeah, that's
I
probably
love
what he
king
done.
f3. You're going to mate
King f3 creates the mating net. And, okay, the white king is pretending to escape. But well, just maybe even take h3 here. Black maybe just starts gobbling up the pawns. Okay, he decides, I actually don't like that move. Why
I don't like that. Why let out the king?
I don't know. Yeah,
this was not the...
That did not seem necessary for him to let out the king. He should have just taken h3 immediately.
Yes.
Now he's gonna have to settle on that, and again, he should still be winning, but perhaps not the best technique there from Robert.
But he'll have to give up his rook for the c pawn, doesn't he?
Yeah, he will. He will for sure. White is setting up this trick with the rook coming over. He can give up the knight for the pawn if he's lucky.
It's good that the knight came back in time.
That's his hope, is to give up the knight for the pawn, but it's not simple anymore.
No.
He may just have to give up the rook for the pawn and play h5, and he's probably still winning that. I mean, honestly...
Yeah, I would try that for sure.
He has to be careful. He's going to give up the draw. He needs to give up the rook for the pawn and just try to win for sure. But no debate anymore. This was definitely not the best technique there for Robert to let the king out.
Yeah, it must have been totally winning with the king
cut on the second. It seems like this is still
second.
just super straightforward, right? I mean, it's just...
Yeah,
I mean,
he won.
Yeah, so...
He won.
Okay. All right, well, there you go. And that was, I think, just about the last game of the round, or pretty close to it. So where are we at with the standings? Okay, so MVL drew his game with Guseynov. Hikaru is right there with 7 out of 9, along with Robert. Grandmaster Nicholas Huschenbeth is right there. That's fun. 7 out of 9. We haven't seen him in the top there very often. Okay, well, if Moskalenko goes up to play MVL, which seems like the forced pairing, because I think he hasn't played MVL. That means Guseynov is going to drop to play Hikaru, and Robert may get himself. Put it this way: he may get himself someone who's not MVL or Hikaru. If Robert doesn't play one of those top guys at this point, you've got to be happy for his chances, because you're talking about having the white pieces in the last round. So Robert Hess, along with Guseynov, Moskalenko, all these guys have great chances. But okay, so I guess we have to put Guseynov and Moskalenko with better chances just because they have that half a point extra lead. But this is going to be a really tight fit. I told you we'd have an Armageddon playoff, right?
Yes, I'm looking forward to it already.
We'll see if I'm right about that. But okay, well, if you're just joining us, where have you been? This is the fourth and final qualifier. Anna and I will be here next week. So if you're trying to keep track of the calendar, Magnus Carlsen will be playing on October 5th, as has already been mentioned. He doesn't start for a while. MVL plays on August 31st. Karyakin plays on the 24th. But as we said, Nakamura is the first of the top seeds to play. One of the qualifiers that we have talked about will be playing on May 3rd next week. Anna and I will have the call. It'll either be Gregorians, Meyer, Zhang, or one of the lucky winners from today, Anna.
Indeed. We will try to predict after this qualifier is over who is going to pick who and who is going to win the Speeches Championship from May to December. It's such a long event, but I love it. I love that every month we will have a highlight some of
Right.
these stars playing in front of our eyes with their webcams switched on, and you can just uh, read their faces, and it's a completely different phenomenon to what we see at classical tournaments, because
Right.
they are used to hide their emotions, but not when they are playing at home.
Right. Yeah, they're not used to it, so they don't want to hide their emotions, and there's no need to, because as much as
Yeah.
it's entertaining for us, their opponent isn't really paying attention to them on webcam either. So it definitely adds a really fun element. If you missed the Grandmaster Blitz Battle Championship, which was basically the Speed Chess Championship last year, then you missed out on what was kind of the Super Bowl of online chess. And I think this year it's going to be even more fun. What matchup are you most looking forward to? I think I'm looking forward to Ho Yifan and Fabiano Caruana. That matchup just is going to be so much fun.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And also Wesley So versus Anish Giri.
Yeah, in the first round, I mean, okay, these qualifier matchups will be interesting too, but I think we kind of expect the top seeds to move on, all four of them, Nakamura, Carlsen, Karyakin, and MVL. But who wins between Wesley So and Anish Giri, right? I mean, that's like a total toss-up.
No, that's the toughest matchup. And
No
also,
idea.
I think it's gonna be a spectacle to see Grishuk versus Rapport for their playing
Oh,
styles.
for sure. Yeah. I put Sasha as the big favorite in that match. I mean, Grishuk is one of the world's best blitz players, and Richard is
True.
certainly super talented and so fun and creative. That's one of the
I go
reasons
with
we gave him
Rapport.
the invite. That's one of the reasons we gave him the invite, is because we know he's going to play well. But yeah, no, I think Grishuk is the favorite there, but that should be, even if it's a lopsided match. Well, let's say Grishuk wins by 4 or 5 games. I bet every game is exciting, and I bet we get some really, really brilliant chess.
Yeah, certainly. So it doesn't really matter for us who is going to move forward. It's going to be amazing to watch their games anyway. Can you also mention the system, the format of the match, because I see that we are waiting for a rook and knight versus rook, and maybe we
Another
should better
rook and knight
talk
versus rook. Might as well
You can
bring it
switch
up.
there if you want. It's Mihalevsky with the black pieces against Machine XV.
Oh, I drew
Draw.
right as we no, but it's good. We brought the attention to the board, and they drew. So now we no longer have to fill airtime. We feel like it's like a sports announcer when it's a lopsided victory. You have to make up things to talk. What? MVL gets Hikaru? Now that is a shocking pairing. Well, for sure it
Bad
means that
luck.
Robert Hess is not playing Hikaru. And if you're Maxime, you got to be like, oh man, I did not expect that, right? He gets black against Nakamura, and watch these guys play some real theory here. This is going to be a fun way to end this tournament today.
Yeah,
I'm surprised by the
amazing.
pairing. It must have meant that there was some sort of forced pairing with players having already played each other. But
Yeah, I'm not sure how exactly it works, but it seems that this is what everybody wanted to see, for
either
sure.
way, I guess that's what happened. So here we go. We got an F3 King's Indian. Maxime has to be careful in these types of Benoni structures, especially in blitz. If white is really playing based on preparation, they know their stuff. Black can get a real cramped position very, very quickly. And something tells me Hikaru is going to take this game super seriously and win this game. And I know you say he takes every game seriously, but I don't know that he always does. I mean, did he play a hedgehog? Did he play B3 on move 1? No. Right? And just the
He did
tone
not.
he's setting.
But I think
tone
he
he's
takes
setting here.
seriously even those games. It's just a different attitude in terms of the opening, but I'm sure that he wants to win every game, and then we are the same. So they just want to crush everybody.
Yeah, well, obviously, but I think in the Blitz Championships, the speech that he doesn't play a lot of these, hedgehog
Yes, serious
bird
openings. You are right,
right.
that this is
something tells me he got the pairing, and Hikaru was probably like, well, that's weird. I'm playing Maxime, but here we go. Okay.
I see Samuel Sevian asking in the chat how can he follow players. He just needs to put the slash before the follow, because I see
That's
him
right.
writing
Well, we
in
have
the chat.
some bugs today. We had
Follow.
there were some broken issues with the ease of follow. Normally, you can just click on someone's username and there's the follow button. So I know everybody's experiencing that. My apologies. on behalf of my tech team for not properly catching that. So, but yes, all right. Let's pay attention to the chess here. I think Nakamura is totally in the driver's seat here as white. In fact, the threat of queen d4 check was coming and forces f6. And
yeah, also queen h6, but then there's no follow-up.
well, you know what this means is that as exciting as this game is for us with Mvl and Hikaru, it's actually not the most relevant game because neither one of these guys is taking the spot, and it means that as we move on, we have to bring up the other games. Let's bring up
Moskalenko, Gusainov.
Yeah, that's which makes me happy with this pairing because now you have two guys who are literally playing for the chance to move on.
Yeah, it will not depend on one of the stars. But who is Moskalenko playing? I see Gusainov facing Becca 95. Who is Becca 95?
Yeah, I don't know.
Alexander Ingic from the Olympic team of Serbia. And Moskalenko.
So Gusainov is playing and then that means they're both going to be playing for wins for sure, given that they don't want the other person to pass them. I'm trying to find Alexander Moskalenko's games here, but so many games going.
Yeah, I also haven't succeeded yet in locating him. Strange.
Yeah, me too. I'm having the same trouble. Oh, wait, we have Robert Hess is taking on fellow American Akshat Chandra, and if Robert wins, there's still a chance, an outside chance at qualifying. If he wins and both Moskalenko and Gusainov draw, then
yeah, he can tie for first place.
Right. Oh no! I'm getting word from the staff that it looks like Moskalenko had some sort of connection issues. He was not removed at all from the tournament, but he seems to have disconnected. You know what? I wonder if he thought it was 9 rounds because the Title Tuesday used to be 9 rounds, and he hasn't played in a little while.
Ouch!
But
as the leader of the tournament, you log out when you still have.
That means that Gusainov is in complete control in terms of his own destiny. I mean, if he draws, he guarantees a tie with Moskalenko withdrawing, and if he wins, it's it. He wraps it up, and there's not even a chance for Moskalenko to tie. So that is terrible news that Moskalenko disconnected.
Oh my! Especially even if he thought it was a 9-round event, but he was tied for first place, or he thought that he would not be first because it was Maxime.
I don't know. I mean, we don't have an immediate form of contact for Moskalenko, so we know that he plays in the Title Tuesdays, and we will be emailing him as we have done so regularly because he wins money a lot, so we pay him a lot. But I don't have Moskalenko's Skype. I don't have an easy way to get a hold of him. So
yeah, it's just shocking that he was so close to qualifying for the Speeches Championship and he just logged out.
Yeah, well, Gusainov is under time pressure, but I like his attacking chances. Okay, but now it's a mess. Now if he's not able to take h6 with a clear follow up, perhaps Becca 95 is going to turn the tables here because these two pawns are very very scary.
Yeah, I like Black's chances if he's not getting mated, as you said. Then he should be doing fine. And I didn't see Becca 95 playing here before, but I remember Ingic from the Olympiads, and he's a strong player, so he can certainly produce a setup and provide Robert and other grandmasters with the opportunity of qualifying.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Robert, on that note, is under time pressure and a whole lot of it here. But he's used to playing this way, and it's a psychological thing. He likes getting his opponents in a position where they think they're going to win on time. And then he continues to play for a very long time under time pressure. So it's bad business in terms of relying on the increment because you're more likely to blunder, but Robert is very good at it. And although here he looks like he has lost this b3 pawn, I don't see any clear counter shot. Yeah, I think that Black wins back this b3 pawn. We'll see if Robert can hold this. Let's check on the game between the stars, even though it's not relevant in terms of the qualification. It looks like Nakamura is...
Oh, has tons of pawns up, but what happened there? Yeah, it's just...
Yeah, he's going to take back on f3 with the pawn, and he's in the driver's seat because he's up 2 pawns, but it's not so simple.
Yeah.
Not so simple to convert on this position when you have 2 extra pawns, but they're on this side with the kings, and black's pieces are already well placed to kind of deal with these pawns. So this will be an interesting one to finish. We'll see if Hikaru can convert on this advantage, and that'll bring him to a tie overall. But it also makes Guseynov, if he wins and moves to 8.5, he would actually win the event clear.
Yeah.
He would win the event and take the qualification spot. So that would be
he
crazy.
might be doing that. He's got a passed pawn on d7.
Yeah, well, it looks like he might indeed be on his way.
Bishop. What if bishop f5 and I want to get this d7 pawn, but I'm not in time for that.
Almost in time. I know almost doesn't count, but almost.
Yeah, if I could just give up the e pawn for the d7 pawn at least, and then with one h5 pawn, I think that would be a draw, that rook endgame.
Still terribly disappointing about Moskalenko. We got to get a hold of
I
this
know.
guy and be like, what happened?
This is shocking.
We don't know if it was connection issues, but it looks like he just voluntarily withdrew, just exited the event, and he actually had the best tie breaks too of all the people. And so if there was a multiple tie, he would have had good chances there. So, yes, very, very strange. But Guseynov is in the driver's seat here. Black is really under pressure because of this d7 pawn. But oh wait, okay, h6. Here comes h7. Nutty stuff. Robert and Akshat Chandra are living off the increment, but it looks like Chandra will go on to win this one, as Robert was unable to hold in the time scramble. With that, his chances of being the speed chess qualifier come to an end. But there's many others still in the driver with chances, including Guseynov.
Yeah, and Hikaru has beaten Maxime.
Amazing stuff, and not surprising. Just given the attitude, I know it sounds weird, but I know Hikaru pretty well now, seeing a lot of games, and just the fact that he took a moment and then played the mainline King's Indian, something told me that he was preparing to really, really win that game. And Guseynov is also preparing to win this game, and with it, he is going to be our champion. Guseynov is going to be our qualified player and clear winner of the event because of this.
This is so weird.
It's such a weird finish there. I mean, it's certainly, and Moskalenko or Guseynov should have been given MVL based on the pairing. So we are going to have to make sure that we. The games were great, and
has won.
Guseynov has won, and with it we have a clear finish here. So we take a look. Guseynov wins with 8.5 out of 10. MVL, Hikaru, Sergey, Aza, and Akshat Chandra, all of them finish with 8.5 out of 10. A massive score for those finishers right there. 8 out of 10 is sometimes enough to win out. Look at Eric Hansen right there at 7.5. So had himself
good job by Eric.
A very decent finish there.
Robert Hess Morozevich on 7.5. Yegor Giriev.
Robert Hess is the first name out of the list here at number 11, but had his best chances yet to qualify. It was fun to follow him. But Moskalenko, really the story of the day, being in the position that he was in, that's just terrible news for him.
I know. This is incredible. I don't know. I'm sure that by now he knows what happened. Somebody must have texted him or messaged him.
I'm sure, and we'll be curious to know. I'm sure that he will email us and let us know. Although, like I said, I think that it's possible he disconnected voluntarily because he thought it was 9 rounds. But that's still bad news, misinformed information, and if it was a bad connection, that also stinks. But I guess that's part of playing online. So, congratulations to Guseynov. We shouldn't take anything away from him for sure. I mean, he. Despite the awkward last round pairings and being given a gift of Moskalenko's disappearance, right? He
but maybe I mean, it's not Gusainov who made him log out, so we shouldn't take credits from him. He won in the last game, and he finished ahead of Maxime and Hikaru. So
That's right.
kudos to Gadir Gusainov from the Olympic team of Azerbaijan. He's
Yeah,
a
absolutely.
key member of the Azeri team, and now the 16th participant of the Speed Chess Championship.
We have our field. The field is set. No, I'm pretty happy. I mean, that's a pretty big win for Gusainov, and he's certainly a worthy candidate. You're right. Not taking anything away from him. Even if Moskalenko played, let's remember, everybody, Gusainov won, which means Moskalenko would have had to have won just to tie Gusainov. So somehow my premonition of the Armageddon match feels like I was right, and then something else intervened, right? I don't know what happened there, but Moskalenko would have had to have won just to tie Gusainov, so let's not forget that, and certainly he is a worthy champion. So let's talk about the bracket, Anna, before everybody leaves us, because they did ask us to pick our overall
Don't
winners.
go anywhere. We will try to predict the Speed Chess Championship. First of all, we have 4 qualifiers, and they can still try to have more rating on Chess.com until the 1st of May. Then, Danny, what happens with their ratings?
So at the 1st of May, we have when Jeffrey Zhang was the last one showing it now, but at the 1st of May, we will have all the ratings, and we will know who the players prefer. They'll let us know in kind of a sealed envelope if they end up being the highest rated player, who they prefer. So we'll know instantly what the preferred order is of who's the highest rated, who they choose, and we will set the pairings and announce them. The system will be that the players will play based on who they choose, and you will see the matches break down just as we've been showing throughout the show. Nakamura will take on the first qualifier on May 3rd. That is next week, so don't miss that. Sergei Karyakin will follow on May 24th, and Mvl in August, and then, as we said, Carlsen doesn't play until October. So the 4 qualifiers have been decided. This entire month comes to an end, which was a lot of fun, but we'll see everybody next week. Nakamura taking on, then Karyakin, then MVL, then Carlsen. But okay, let's not go through a whole prediction, because I think we'll save that for Chess Center, a separate show. But give me your overall winner, Anna, and a quick 30 seconds of how you see the Speed Chess Championship going down.
I'm super excited about the Speed Chess Championship because it will be the first time that I can commentate with you, Danny, with the webcams on. I'm all about the webcams.
Yep.
I want to stare at their faces and try to figure out what they are thinking. I think that's a great addition to these blitz battles. Also, the format is very interesting, so we will see them playing for like 3 hours nonstop with different time controls and also Fischer chess. The winner, I think it will be Magnus once again, but playing the finals with Hikaru. So yeah, I would give both Hikaru and Magnus the highest chance of winning. I think I'm not saying anything new because they are considered to be the best blitz players in the world right now. But there could be upsets. What do you think, Danny? Will there be upsets?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's hard to pick against Carlsen given how we saw the last one go down. I think there's a very good chance that we indeed see Carlsen Nakamura once again in the finals. But, I think Karyakin, obviously remember how well he did in Qatar not too long ago, right, at the World Blitz and Rapid Championships. Everyone remembers the face of Magnus being very upset.
And that can also be the finals, actually. So they are going from different lines, and that means that it could be a Carlsen-Karyakin finals, right, or so a Carlsen-Nakamura or Carlsen-Caruana.
Which means the semis between Nakamura and Karyakin would certainly be great. But I think, let me pick a dark horse. It seems a little more fun. I think that
all right.
I expect, as hard as it is for me to say it, because we love Levon and he's the nicest guy, I think he's got a tough pairing again, and I think Nepo wins. I think Nepomniachtchi takes him down. And I think that if you're looking for somebody outside of the top 4 to be a favorite, I think that Nepo is somebody who's capable of staying with Nakamura if he made it to the semis. I think Nakamura is still the favorite, but if Nepo gets past Aronin and Karyakin, that could be sort of a surprise final. Would be a Carlsen Nepomniachtchi final. I also, if you remember last year, I picked Grishuk to beat Carlsen. And then I was shocked by the world champion's bullet skills. I just, for some reason, thought that that Grishuk would be able to hang with him in bullet. It ended up being a lopsided affair there. So I'm not going to say that Grishuk could beat Carlsen this year, but I do think that okay, depending on what happens between him and MVL, Carlsen will have a tough matchup there in the semis. But I got to think about this. I think that every matchup is just huge heavyweights. We've never seen Wesley So or Anish Giri. I mean, Wesley So is the hottest player in the world right now, right? And guess who plays Carlsen in round 2? Wesley So, right? So assuming if Wesley beat Anish Giri, Carlsen Wesley So should not be underrated as one of the biggest, most exciting matches. In fact, everyone keeps begging for Wesley So Carlsen to go at him, and it's going to happen.
And Wesley has won the Pro Chess League with the St. Louis Archbishops against Magnus Carlsen's team, the Norway Gnomes. So there is already a rivalry because of the Pro Chess League as well between the two of them.
Yeah, so it's going to be epic. Oh, man, it's going to be wild. But we will have the call next week, Anna, on May 3rd, and everyone should be there. This time it's nonstop blitz and bullet, just 2 players, mano y mano, and Nakamura versus one of these 4 qualifiers. We'll find out. But hang out. I mean, maybe we should do some sort of impromptu show Sunday night, counting down who the top players are. But I'm not sure they'll be active. So, we'll see how seriously these players take it. Gregorians, Meyer, and Zhang. If I had to pick, I think that Meyer will end up being the top rated player. But don't be surprised if Gregorian spends a lot of time playing. And then now, obviously, with Gadir Gusenov, I mean, that's it's going to be tough no matter what. It's going to be fun. So, all right.
Yeah. And we will see what their preferences are. Who will they pick? As Meyer said, he would try to avoid both Magnus and Hikaru, but he thinks that he has good chances against both Maxime and Karyakin. So interesting to see whether, for instance, Jeffrey would want to pick Magnus Carlsen because it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to play a match against him online with this format. So I'm curious to see who the qualifiers will pick.
Yep, me too. Well, we will find out on May 1st at midnight. Pay attention to Chess.com's news section and look for me and Anna to have the commentary on May 3rd when Hikaru Nakamura takes on somebody. It's been a long day. It's been a long day. It's been a long month. 4 shows. Been a lot of fun. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and we will see you next week for the first Speed Chess Championship. Tune in tomorrow to Chess TV 2. If you just happen to be finding us, I'll remind you we've got a lot of programming tomorrow. We have Reykjavik Open coverage pretty much all day, or a lot of the day. So check that out, and Anna and I will see you on May 3rd, and that's it. See you later, everybody.
See you May 3rd.